We're going to be, of course, now they're going to say we're sexist because there's not a female in here to balance it. So we'll have to get
Bev?
Beverly.
Well, we have Bev.
Yeah.
So we have Juan in the studio today. He holds.
I think we have more than one. We have like 5.
Oh, stop it, stop it.
So Juan holds 5 black belts in 5 different disciplines in different arts, and he is a bodyguard, and he is very proficient in firearms.
Are you hiring him too?
Yeah, well, for this campaign because it's gotten so crazy, and we need protection wherever we go. So, being facetious. So anyway, we brought Juan on so he could talk about his passion. Oftentimes when we chat, he just loves the Constitution. So I had some questions for him, and we'll just keep it a free-spirited discussion. Hey, Juan, what's your favorite part of the Bill of Rights?
Well, I'm definitely a Second Amendment because I feel that without the Second Amendment, everything else is going to fall apart. So that's definitely one of the most important. And it was put there for a reason in second place.
Yeah. Well, why in second? I mean, is it designed to preserve all the other ones? I mean, is that really without the second, do you really have a first?
No.
Right.
You don't have any of them.
Right.
No, they all go hand in hand. I'm Steve Romang, and I can tell you that the Second Amendment is as important as the Fourth Amendment, which stops them from coming in not anymore, from coming in your house, or the right to remain silent. And of course, Lois Lerner was a celebrity in the IRS, and she took the Fifth Amendment because she didn't want to rat out Hillary and Obama and Dick Durbin and Sherrod Brown and all the other scumbag Democrats up there in Congress. So it is important, but I agree with you, Juan. Second Amendment, you better have it, because when they come to your door to take you away, and you say, "Oh, it can't happen," believe me, go place and you'll see it, Juan. Do you agree with me or no?
Sure. I've seen it in other places in the world.
Yeah.
Well, do you so I got a phone call yesterday, and they wanted me to sign a petition for background checks, to voluntarily do background checks on private sales. And what are your thoughts on something like that? Even though they say it's voluntary, they wanted to propose this petition to the federal government to create that law.
Yes, one of the problems we have is the listing of people with firearms. So by using these lists, they've taken them and put people aside and say, all these people have firearms, they have a list of you. And we don't want a list of people. You should have the right not to be on a list.
Right.
And it's caused problems in other states. So this state, Florida, says there should be no list. And it's stated in your gun law. 790.335 also states that any law enforcement officer that takes your gun without your permission, for whatever the case may be, if he wants to be on the safe side or something, and he actually calls that in, he's starting a list. And then under our gun law, if that's in the list is a felony. So he's actually committed a felony when law enforcement gets to that point. So there's a lot of things that people who have concealed carry should read in their own law. And I'm pro law enforcement. I think that law enforcement does a great job.
You bet.
And I believe sometimes the leaders are swayed by rhino Republicans in the House and the Senate
and mass media
and in Miami. And that's why our concealed carry, open carry did not go through. Although most people in Tallahassee wanted it to go through. We're basically one of the 5 states that does not have an open carry or some sort of open carry in the United States. There's 70% of the counties in the United States had no homicides. Most of them were open carry counties. There's a lot of reasons. I can give you a lot more statistics. 30,000 homicides, 60% of those are considered suicides. 25% of those were in 4 cities, heavy gun laws. Chicago, Illinois. I got them right here on my picture.
Like Philadelphia, Los Angeles, all anti-gun.
Detroit.
Yeah.
Those cities are the highest ones. California is higher than 1,195. In California, heavy gun laws. Alabama, one. So there's no reason to say that it's a dangerous situation. The average, I mean,
So you're saying right now, just to ask you, so you're saying right this minute that 45 of our states in our union have some sort of open carry.
correct,
But Florida is one of 5 states that doesn't have it.
it doesn't have it.
And it got to judicial committee and the senator, the chair of judicial, refused to let it out, even though everybody wanted to vote in favor. Right, is that what you're saying?
exactly. And it was lobbied by the Florida Sheriff's Association. And now I know the Brevard Sheriff up north is pro-gun. He's Second Amendment. Unfortunately, we have others that aren't,
Yeah.
and are holding us back.
But the sheriff's association was in favor of open carry.
No, they're the
Oh,
ones
they
that
were
lobbied
opposed.
against the
Okay,
open
gotcha.
carry
They were
with
good.
concealed. Now, the way this works out is that 15 out of the 45 that do have open carry is with the way we wanted to do it, which was open carry with the concealed permit. So that
Only
they-
if you have a concealed permit.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
And the reason for that was because a lot of the concealed carry people were being harassed and arrested by accidentally exposure of their weapon. And then the legislation said, well, we got to stop this. It's crazy. So they said, if it's open carry when you have concealed, then that way there's no hassle about it because it's done.
So explain this to us, because a lot of people do not understand at all the difference with an open carry versus the concealed carry. What they're thinking is people are going to have a gun on their hip, an AR-15 in their arms, going into a Walmart store. That's what the socialist media wants everybody to believe. But when you have a concealed carry, tell a person, because there's over 1 million with concealed carry permits in Florida alone. If they're silhouetting or they're reaching up to grab something in the store on their top shelf,
Right.
and the butt of their gun is shown, that's now deemed open carry. And are they in
Well,
violation of
It's
the
no
law?
good, no matter what you're doing, to have your butt showing.
There we go.
Right.
This is one.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
actually, that was changed. There was an addendum added to the law so that if you accidentally carried that, showed your weapon, you would not be under, you would not be breaking the law.
Okay, gotcha.
So there was an addendum to the law, about
No ifs, ands, buts about it.
about it, right. But what happened is the law enforcement continued to harass me. So the legislation said, well, we'll open carry that way, that you can't harass the law-abiding citizen. Now, people have to understand this, the same people who gave me a G license, the same people who gave me a concealed carry license, the same people give the law enforcement their license. The state of Florida is saying that I'm as legal to carry that weapon as the law enforcement officer is. There's no ifs or buts about it. It comes from the same people, it's telling me the same license. Okay, so there's a lot of time to look at us as criminals. I know two cases personally, where law enforcement drew their gun on somebody for a traffic violation. Traffic violations are traffic violations. It's not a criminal act. And you can't assume the guy's doing something. There's no probable cause to go search in his car. So there's two sides. You have to learn how to answer the questions. You have to learn how to know your law. And the deputy or policeman, or law enforcement needs to know that you know the law and that you shouldn't cross it over and misuse their authority.
Well, did you hear what happened yesterday?
Yes,
Oh,
They
dude,
shot the lady.
that's
Oh,
terrible.
yeah.
Mary Knowlton.
That's something that should have never happened. They should have never been using those kinds of guns anyway.
Right.
What should they use? Wooden guns? I mean,
Oh,
why would why would you use a gun and not check to see if there's a bullet in there?
They don't-
Did you get too complacent?
They don't have to
So
have
you
the
get too
sound.
comfortable.
They don't have to have a sound and make a noise to make this whole thing to show how it's done.
Yeah.
Well, they wanted the drama,
Yeah.
But now she lost her life. Here's this woman. Can you imagine? Where
Mary
did
Knowlton.
this took place in Punta Gorda, right?
Punta Gorda. but
Punta
Mary-
Gorda. Now, you know this lady, Mary?
No, but the Wall Street Journal had a nice article about Mary Knowlton and what a wonderful community organizer she was.
Oh, my Lord.
But she went there. She was told before she went there, by the way,
Yeah.
do not go there today. Something bad's going to happen. And she
Who
ignored
told
it.
her that?
Just read the article. You read all about it.
I haven't got time to read every article.
Yeah,
Now, did you read that?
but let me just
You
inject.
know?
I just want to inject
I
this.
can't read everything.
God love you. But let me just inject this. Juan, if you were at the San Bernardino Christmas party, and those two idiots jumped in there with those guns, do you think you could have taken them down before they got you?
Yeah, if I was there, sure.
That's what I'm saying. But if you don't have a gun and those jumpers jump in there and start shooting at you, what chance do you have? Well, you're a martial arts guy, so on TV you conduct bullets like in the movie where Keanu Reeves would dodge bullets. You know, the maze.
Well, this is a good
Matrix.
point. I like to bring this up because we have the misconception of who the first
Responder.
responders are.
Yeah.
I know we again, I'll say it again, I'm pro law enforcement. I have good friends in the fire department, and they do a great job, and there's things we can't do, but they have to get there. So most of the time, the first responders, in my eyes, is the civilian who stops the traffic to go around a car that was an accident, or pulls his fire extinguisher out of his truck to pull the fire out, or pulls somebody out of a car that's burning, or draws the gun and fires upon a guy who draws the gun on a hostage. You know, these are guys who are first responders. You don't hear about them, okay? But
Yeah.
we, the public, are. When do we become so, I don't want to say
Afraid?
afraid or wimpy that we can't be what we used to be in this country? You know, I came over here, and the first people I met when I came here were cowboys, and I thought everybody was like that. You know,
Mhm.
heck, you want to build a fence, we build a fence. Want to build a house, build a house. I mean, do it.
Okay, we gotta take a little break. What are we gonna talk about when we return that's exciting that people can't bear to wait for?
Something about Hillary Clinton, I'll tell you that.
You got some news, some breaking news on
Yes.
Hillary Clinton. We'll be right back. This is the Mayor of the Airways. Today's broadcast brought to you by Route 60 Hyundai.
Anyway.
Excitement in your voice.
I need exciting,
With you
I
in the
need
room.
exciting content.
I would feel very safe.
Yeah.
Those buggers
Hillary's
wouldn't have
in
jumped in there
trouble.
with that
Trump's in
AR-15
trouble.
before you.
Oh, what a
I'm pretty good
mess.
shot.
And you're 83 and happy.
I'm not 83. yet.
81.
I'm 81, be 82.
I'm coming back in with one
What
as
are you
well
gonna
as
do?
number.
December
Oh.
26th.
Soon.
What do you say?
It's like it's next week or
Six,
something.
5, 6,
Oh,
So we're gonna have a party this year?
December.
That's my,
We're gonna have a party this
Um,
year for your dad?
I don't-
80, at 82,
He's my
I'm the
social
entertainment guy.
director.
I usually do.
Thanks for coming in, Juan.
Yeah, it's a lot of topic to touch base, I'm sorry we couldn't touch it all, but.
Well, we touched a little more. What more do you have? Let me see what more you have.
Oh, no, that's a lot, I mean, you can have me back.
Yeah.
It's
All right,
just
well,
a lot about it, you know.
Okay.
by the way, I mean that about feeling safe right now.
Okay.
Okay, so would you move over to your seat there?
We'll play checker. Yeah, I agree with you.
Joseph doesn't, you got talent.
Well, yeah, it's just that
It's for a segment, he's
hit the
interested.
3 big sections.
Yeah.
That's all. No, don't make it twice.
Did you close that door? Slam it.
Are we on, we're on the,
Bluetooth, whatever it is.
we're blowing right now, aren't
Yeah, we're on. We're YouTubing right now.
we?
As we YouTubing down the stream of life, but what are YouTubing? Everything's all right as you YouTubing.
I don't think I've gone down a river on an inner tube since, I'd say 1998.
Oh.
That's how long ago. When did you go down last time?
Last time I went down on a little YouTube, on tube,
Right.
was over at, Itchy Tuckney.
Oh, you did Itchy
But,
Tuckney?
but when I was a boy, well, I was in my 20s, excuse me, a group of us all went down, up near Lake George, New York. We went down what do you call the rough water?
Rapids?
The rapids.
Oh, boy, you went white watering.
Yeah,
Nice.
whitewater rafting.
Yeah, well, I went down that
Now, see, hold on.
in a raft and I
This
got
may-
bumped out.
This is water rafting. This is more interesting than what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like yawn. I couldn't even. What was the? I don't know.
It was
Oh, no, it just,
syrup.
just a little bit of it said like 50 states have, 45 states have, and then boom. The point I'm trying to make is guns save lives.
Right.
End the conversation.
Right.
I don't like guns.
Yeah.
We
Please.
do 3 or 4.
Anyway,
The new release.
I was just talking to Sean. Did you tell him to yank the politicals Joseph's Cookie?
Yes, absolutely.
Here we go.
Oh, okay.
This is the mayor of the airwaves. How are you doing? It's another beautiful day in paradise. I'm sitting here with my friend Larry Sempravivo. My co-host for the day is the attorney at law here.
Yes, Stephen Froman. Good
Stephen
morning,
Froman.
folks. Yeah, Treasure Coast. Hello, Treasure Coast. Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and-
Glad to be here, Rhett.
And the vice mayor of the airwaves, Joseph from Joseph's Cookies.
Hello.
How you doing, Joseph?
Great. How you doing,
All right,
Mr. Mayor?
Nice
Yeah,
to see you.
Mr.
Larry,
Mayor.
how are you, Larry?
I'm always wonderful. If you wake up in the morning,
No, you are.
got it.
You bet.
You are.
I'm happy. I'm a very happy man.
He wakes up
I
singing.
got a great wife.
Yeah.
I got a great family.
You
Yeah.
bet.
I want to know why. Why one thing?
What?
Seriously. Why do you have favor with God?
Well, because in order to get favor with God, I think you have to suffer a little bit through life to appreciate what you
Hold on,
have.
I got great favor coming.
What? It's coming. It's
It's coming.
coming.
But you were never a
Hold on,
victim.
let
I
me-
was never a victim. Is
Never.
absolutely right.
Never.
But I think God appreciates people who are humble.
Yes.
They really do. And
But remember what Billy Graham said when I leaned in, I talked about humility. He said, well, Red, if we're talking about it, we have a God,
Yes.
right?
right.
We
That's
can't
true.
think of ourselves humble. We can attempt to be humble.
You try.
Well,
You try.
I think you think of humility so you could achieve or strive to become humble. You have to recognize it.
Okay, but hold on. I'm asking Larry today. You sit there, shut up and drink your coffee.
Out of my out of my Tigger.
You know
No,
what? What's
I wanna-
more?
No,
Go ahead.
because I know that you started praying for me. How many months ago?
Oh, well,
Six,
it's much
9.
more than 6-7 months.
Well, something. Because
Yeah.
there's been a change.
Oh,
A lot of good
absolutely.
changes.
See, you
So I
have
want
to
to know
surrender.
what you. So why would God listen to you and not me?
Well, you know, because I'm sincere, and I
Oh,
mean
God,
what
here
I
we go.
say to God, and God knows that.
Yeah.
And everybody has a voice, and
Yeah.
God hears us all.
Yes.
But first of all, you have to mean what you say. Not things can't be just superficial. I like politics.
Yeah.
They say what you want to hear,
Yeah.
but not what's
And
in
you
their
can't- In
heart.
other words, God knows the heart. Just like now, King David, for instance, had an affair with Bathsheba. Now he knew he'd done wrong. When he took Uriah, her husband, he saw her bathing on the rooftop naked. And this guy, he got eyes for Bathsheba. Then he figured they meet and something starts here. So he sends Uriah to the front lines, her husband.
Gets him killed.
He gets him
Yeah.
killed.
Killed.
And then the prophet of God comes and says, what would you do? What would you think about a man? How would you judge? Because the king was to judge them. He said, what would you do if a man had, many lambs, but went to another man who only had one little lamb and took it away from him and, killed it? And he said, that man should surely die. And Samuel said, thou art the man, David, for you have left the Lord by blah, blah, blah. You took Uriah, sent him to the front lines. And he fell to his knees and started weeping and knew he'd done wrong and admitted it at least. But he said, for this, the sword shall never leave your household. Remember, even his son went up against him, Absalom,
Absolutely.
and they had to end up killing Absalom, and a whole bunch of mess took place. But anyway, so but God did forgive David because he says he has a heart after me. So the heart, you're right about that, because there are people, who wonder why, and it's like, get real, just stop this stuff. And I think it's very dangerous. Now you're a lawyer, Mr. Froman,
Yes.
and my mom used to say when he was in law school up at Syracuse that he was studying to be a liar. Ha 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 ha. He was studying to be a liar. Ha ha. A liar.
LIAR.
A liar. And this Abe Lincoln, of course, said, be an attorney, but above all things, be honest. And if you can't be honest and be an attorney, then find some other career. Because honest Abe, we've all seen the ad where his wife says, does this dress make my butt look big? You wonder what a guy like that would say. Honey, I cannot answer under the Fifth Amendment.
It takes the 50s like a politician.
Well, being a trial lawyer, we do personal injury, lots of it. We rarely go to trial because the insurance companies, more often than not, if you have an open and obvious injury, your arm's broken, your leg's gone, if they pay for it, they'll give you the money. But if you have a soft tissue injury where you're in trouble, the insurance companies around here will stick you and stick you and stick
And it
you.
is the truth. People need to know the insurance companies are not, Nationwide was not on my side after the hurricane.
Oh, they're horrible.
They came
I
in,
sued them.
listen, I had a, like a $7,000, what do you call it? The first 7,000.
The
Deductible.
deductible.
Okay, so isn't it funny? The lady calls me from Colorado and says, not Colorado, the Carolinas, says, "Oh well, it looks like you got about $7,000 worth of damage." I said, "How would you know that? I haven't even had anybody here." Well, then they sent this guy down who has a barbecue stand up there.
Correct.
I guess he's working part-time for them. He comes in and he says, "Well, you got about maybe 60,000." Then I have these guys come on that are public adjusters. He used to work for the insurance companies. Now he comes in and says, one time they were going to give my father, when his house burned down, this little bit of money. He says, "You got to give my father more." And then he realized everybody has a mother or father. So he jumped the fence, and now he's the public adjuster advocate for the public. So anyway, I didn't know they exist. Every time, folks, I'm saving you tens of thousands of dollars. He got me another $60,000, $70,000. And what you do is you accept your first check, and then you have up to 3 years to go back, hire a public adjuster like my friend Steve up in Sebastian, and get it done. Now listen, that's why you need to listen to talk radio, because I will save you. Next time there's something, look at I had a leak in my dishwasher. $100,000 worth of damage. They only wanted to give me like 50,000. Public adjuster got me another 40. We'll be back. This is the mayor of the airways. We're protecting you. Okay. No, your father and I agreed. It was just, I don't know, it's just the way his delivery or whatever, it just was boring.
Okay.
Why do you agree with me?
I agree, but on the fact that, people don't want to hear. I like the fact that he said 45 cities have the law. States, and it protects the people. I wish he would have emphasized that more, saying how guns protect the people and how important that Second Amendment
I would
is.
say this, if you're going to be on radio just by delivering facts, you will yawn them right off the moose.
Got to be emotion.
Right, even if it is somewhat full. People come in and say, "Oh, the other day Stanford was doing a show." He said they started half an hour before I got here. And then the guy says, "Man, you bring so much light to it." Well, all I do is I just, get enthusiastic about it. It's the most important thing, and it is actually. This Second Amendment thing.
May I just say,
And that you got to emphasize it.
yes, may I just inject that your song, more people have tried to find that song.
Sick of politics?
No, it's dung slinging monkey song. Remember when I said about Obama and you started playing dung? I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Everybody said, "Where did y'all come up with that song?" And I said, "We didn't. That's just Rhett. He's got this artistic talent."
Well, it's the same way
Yeah,
even
but
Joseph.
my other counselor over here, Joseph, said that he doesn't think I should do that too much because monkey and a black guy is not the right
Yeah,
way
that
to
is
go.
no, that's forbidden.
All right.
And I don't want any
politically
influence.
correct,
First of all,
guys, but I'm telling you,
am
more
happy.
people are listening to this show because
Yeah.
of that stuff
No,
right
but
there.
the thing is,
Hey, Rhett,
they'll label them as a racist.
so why,
Who?
if I
Rhett?
get everything clear
No
through
way.
iHeartRadio for the
I
general.
have your contract back up,
Because
Joe.
it cannot, they recalled me and said, "I understand that, but it cannot have any appearance of you paying me. No appearance of yours. Why are those ads running?" So they're hearing those ads? Just wanted you to know.
For cookies?
I don't want to go to jail for having you on the radio. Hey, baby, Joe Cookie.
So for the cookie ad, he said that is unlawful
No,
for a cookie ad.
but it
I'll
seems
challenge
as
it and I'll
though
win
you're
again.
giving me compensation.
A cookie ad has nothing to do with it, and there's no.
Yeah, I tell
no.
you what.
Was I right about this whole
This
fight
is
with
the
them?
chocolate chip affair. Yes.
It's just my dad prayed and it all got fixed. That's
What's that?
nothing.
No, he said it. He said it in the beginning. What he was doing was legal,
Yeah.
and Joseph was right. And 99.99%,
You're right.
he's always
And
right.
you know what? And that's kind of cool because he is.
He's
I
always
admit you
right.
are.
Well, I promise you
And I
that you
know-
wouldn't have
and
exposure.
I know that we could push that,
I like pushing
but
it.
but why bother?
Yeah.
We stir it up.
He's playing it. I told him to play it. And he said, Red told me not to. And I said, when did he tell you? This just happened now. I said, I got everything cleared. No, I said, I got everything.
You
He
can't
said
do
there
it.
was,
You can't. Now, Joseph needs to be reprimanded. He has no right to subjugate my authority here.
that's right.
I said not run that. Now, you get me in trouble and I get booted off here.
You can't.
You are gonna buy, and heck, I wouldn't. You're gonna pull, and you're gonna go
I'll
out.
start you
You're
a
gonna
new
have to
show.
buy a radio station. And if you owe it to me, you're gonna buy a big FM.
I'll buy bigger and better.
You better stick up by me. I'm not rich like you guys. I have to make a living.
You're not going to get in any trouble playing that. It has
Really?
One has
Please.
nothing to do with the other.
Please.
Here's a lawyer.
Come on.
Ask the lawyer.
Come on,
One
come
has
on,
nothing
come
to
on.
do
If
with
Hillary
the
Clinton can hide that many emails
other.
and get away with
What's nice
it,
about this,
hide
you look
and-
at the girls now and they can't see us.
oh yeah, that's right.
You got that letter from iHeartRadio from General Counsel giving us full clearance to go on as much as we want?
No.
Yeah, I sent it to you. At 11 o'clock at night, General Counsel.
Last night?
No, last week.
Yeah.
Right after I talked to him.
Where's my
General,
water?
So that clears you.
General Counsel said,
That's my second water.
but here's 40 years doing it. And I said, I'm sorry, you're mistaken. You know, very politely.
Yeah, but that's why you get thing.
Yeah.
I knew with iCall. See, I have.
Oh, I'm very nice.
Here we go, Red.
Barbara always says I have a tone.
Oh, I'm very complimentary.
This is the mayor of the airways. We have Mr. Stephen Fromag in here. We have Larry Sempervivo, and of course we have Joseph Sempervivo. Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the mayor of the airways, and of course, our engineer, our board op, is none other than the magnificent rock musician, Sean Murphy. Applause, please. You got to give yourself some applause here.
There you are. There you are. You deserve it.
Well, and
We should include Sean. Don't include him in that favor because he does. He's very opinionated. And he has good opinions.
Oh, he's got great.
Oh, yeah.
He's
Sometimes
Absolutely.
you can be a little rough on Facebook at times, you know. The who? What's that? Yeah. And your guy is actually doing quite well. The only thing is, I'm wondering if it's gonna, because it's like with Ross Perot. He took away how much? What's the percentage?
17.
So that'll cost Trump the thing. Wow.
Right.
Well, we have a psychotic running for the presidency. We just don't know which one. Depends on which camp you're in, right?
No, I don't agree with that. I don't agree.
Come on. Okay, let's be honest. Do you really? The only thing I do think about this, I do think Trump gets stuff done as a businessman. And I do think to allay people's fears and to allay my own fears, I believe that Trump will hire the right people. He has a history of putting experts behind him. He has this persona he puts on. But I still haven't forgiven him for what he said about Carly Fiorina. I know it sounds crazy. You just don't say that about women.
Look,
It's just like this guy running for local office here. Okay. We have Tiffany Justice. She is running for school board. We have this other guy, Kim Young-Woon, whatever his name is. And he comes, Kim John, whatever it is. And, he says, so Tiffany, is they're up there speaking. And he says, well, I have a real job as opposed to you. Hold on. She has 4 children.
Yes.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. You know who has the number one job? The person who's not in this room. It's memory.
Yep.
6 kids.
Yep.
That's the queen of this room, even though she's
Absolutely.
at home listening to this. And your wife, has your wife not been the rudder?
Yeah.
my wife has been my backbone.
Yeah,
Really.
right. And who's always right? Who's always right in my life? Okay?
Right.
So, you know what I'm saying? And how about you?
Oh, yes. My mother was a mother of 8 children. And I think 8 children. I'm one of 8. I'm the third in line.
So what do you
How
think
about
about
that?
a guy?
My mom was a mother of 8.
Was she?
Absolutely.
So what do you think about a guy that says, well, unlike you, I have a real job?
Well, first of all, I don't know the context in which that was said, but I can tell you, raising 8 children, particularly 8 children that each one of them thinks they're a titan.
And you
It's
look at
very
you. You've
difficult.
become a very successful attorney. Your brother
Extremely
David is an
successful.
he's a very he is a urologist.
He's a pioneer actually in pediatric urology. He came up with several methods that are now used, and he's I think he's a trustee at Shands Teaching Hospital, where my
Yeah.
niece not only teaches there, but is an adjunct professor in.
And your son is a doctor
waste
too.
construction.
So let's stay just on her kids.
Yeah.
You, your brother, who else is there?
Well, there's Star.
What
She's
is it?
she's a teacher. Brian, he's a teacher.
Teacher with one of the highest, noblest callings.
Oh, yes, Brian. Every year, I will say this about Vero Beach High School. Every year they pass out this thing, who's the best teacher? Who do you like best? And it's always Brian Fromack. Brian always gets that accolade, and yet Vero Beach High
Oh,
School
we're supposed to
principal
do
and
it,
everybody
teaser.
won't, they spread it around to the second best, third best. Brian would get it every year. Now, my sister Dawn is a speech therapist. She has a PhD in speech therapy. So if you have a stroke, or if your child can't say, Mississippi,
Right.
she's the one.
And you
that-
know what amazes me about people like that? Right now, we say that flippantly. Let me tell you, you have something go wrong, somebody out there has a stroke, and you have somebody who has the gifting, the compassion, the love, the patience,
Oh my
godly
God.
patience
Yes.
to help somebody be able to say the again.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, you start, tear comes down the person's face.
Oh, she's in fact,
Yeah.
I told somebody, was talking about my sister Dawn, and somebody who was not in the conversation comes in and says, "You know Dawn Schomer?" I said, "She's my sister." And she went on and on how Dawn helped her child do just exactly what Rhett's saying. Could tongue-tied, and my sister helped. So, yes.
Well, okay, so finish those off. So how many?
No,
did you
I'm just
mention?
saying, there's
Did we get all the off?
Hurry up, finish your
No,
message.
no.
I gotta go to break. I gotta go to break. so-
Okay, Abby Lynn teaches at the University of Central Florida. You can't finish it for her.
Okay.
And my sister Lisa has a master in business and runs a large company in Miami.
Oh, okay. Well, this is the mayor. Hey, come on over here and say hi, Beverly.
Bev,
How you
hello,
doing, Beverly?
Von Trapp girl.
Speaking of the,
Yes, the Von Trapp girl.
Is that my claim to fame?
No, but the fact that you knew them is incredible.
We have the new Beverly song.
Oh,
Beverly has a twinkle in her eye when you come to Studio 95. She'll say, hello, hi, can I get you a cup of coffee?
and a hug.
Yes.
She's a
Oh,
babe
Bev.
and she's cool.
Bev.
All right, we gotta take a little break.
Brilliant, Red, brilliant.
Mr. Meadows.
The reason.
It's
the
not,
reason
if I'm
this
doing
guy
a song, you
is
can just go
actor
right into
because
the
he
things.
didn't
No need to
have
go
a
from
job.
song to song, you know what I'm saying?
That's when
Mr.
Okay, what's
Meadows.
this?
they don't have a good message. So
Well,
they
Mr.
try to
Meadows.
I didn't know you
The
were
circuit
vague.
judge.
Who did? Who booked? Did you book Bob Meadows?
You know, the camaraderie.
Oh, this
I'm
there.
glad he's on, but I didn't never.
Hello,
By the
Mr.
way,
Meadows.
Meadows.
Like the gallon.
How are you?
Yeah.
Doing well. Getting well.
I didn't, he's got the gallon, right? Red, you told me you have.
yeah, you told me you tried it and you loved it.
No. Here's Noah.
And I told
I got a Noah for you.
Oh, great.
Okay. A batch came in, and
Okay.
I
You
had to give
didn't tell me you invited a guest.
Are you kidding?
You gotta
This is
greet
the
your
greatest
guest.
guy. This is the dude, man. Are you kidding?
Come on,
What is
finally,
that?
we've had all the other guys on for
Are
Joseph
you
except for
kidding?
you. Welcome, Mr. Meadows. We have a seat
And
right
that's Larry. Say hi to Larry. And Joe, my buddy.
here. Joe,
How you doing?
This fellow right here, you don't know
I
this,
see your
but
signs.
former officer. He's 8 years with the border guys.
Oh, okay.
Bazookas, tanks.
State police. I
We have
was
bazookas
in
and tanks in Gifford.
bazookas and tanks.
Yeah, but the police don't have them.
Yeah,
Bob, right there.
okay. Yeah, have a seat, please. So you're gonna sit down, okay, you're just gonna stand, you're gonna share that with us?
45
Now make
seconds.
sure that gets in front of Mr. Meadows. All right. Okay, how you doing, Bob?
All right.
All right.
Do I need these on?
No, you don't need the headsets on. That's why, when in the morning, when you can't hear it, so tell me during the break, you don't need those. You
30
don't have somebody on
seconds.
the phone, we don't need those. But see, I wanted to please you, so I ran right out in the middle of the whole thing. I'm getting upset because your headset's
I
not
thought this
working.
wasn't.
Headsets are
working.
not necessary
Oh, okay.
until,
So if you have sound and then it goes Mute doesn't mean anything.
When he mutes his headset, it mutes yours for some reason. Just because you're special.
Oh, God, okay. Gold label guy.
Yeah, can't beat it.
But see,
By the way,
I get upset
put
because I
that
want to
on
fix
a
it right away.
meatloaf The other day.
And
Was delicious.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Robert Meadows, candidate for circuit judge, has just walked into the room. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. How about you?
All right. You've been practicing law how many years?
I've been practicing law 12 years.
12 years. What did you do prior to that?
I was with the Indian River County Sheriff's Office, retired in 1997.
Oh, you're a retired police officer.
Yes, put myself through law school after that, and
You did. Cool.
been practicing law ever since.
Great. You know, it's funny because a friend of mine who was up in I never knew that about you. I'm glad you could get here. And he was Judge Mort Lynn. He's no longer alive, but he didn't go back to law school until I think he was 46 or 50, and then ended up practicing and became a judge in Albany, New York.
yeah,
And had a very successful career as a judge. And I kind of admire people. I mean, here you have 2 careers.
Yes,
So his whole career retired.
I was 42 when I went back to law school.
Wow. I mean, that's I got to tell you something. Well, 42 is still pretty young. At 62, I don't think I could do it. I don't
It's
think my
tough.
brain would work right.
Robert, what made you want to go back to law? What made you want to go to law school?
Well, I think it is the career path. At 15, I became a police cadet through a police officer that kind of mentored me. And I was hired on as a police officer at 19. I was too young to buy my gun or bullets, and back then you had to buy your own.
Yeah.
And they gave you, I think it was 2 shirts and a pair of pants, and you had to go buy everything else. And my father actually purchased my service revolver, and I've still got it, and it's still in his name. And I was a law enforcement officer, and for about 5 years in the mid-'80s, when the savings bank crisis was going on,
Savings and loan, yeah.
I went into the banking industry. I call it like employment. I was doing fraud and protecting the officers of the banks, the savings banks, because there were so many threats against banking higher ups back then, and there were actually some violence. So, Vice President, Corporate Director, Security for Continental Federal Savings Bank out of Fairfax, Virginia. And I worked for, and I was recruited by the American Bankers Association from them as an associate director in charge of security and risk management worldwide. I worked for the ABA for approximately 2 years.
What's ABA?
The American Bankers
Bankers
Association. They create policy and procedure for banks, such as we wrote the handbook on how to handle bank robberies. That's when we came up with the.
Well, I could use that one. I need some extra dough.
We put the policies in place
Joke.
for those new things they call ATMs that were coming out back then.
Who would have thunk you'd get these guys pulling at night and hauling them up on their trucks?
Well,
It's amazing what thieves will do.
Yeah, and it was my police career that led me there. I came back to Indian River County. I worked for another 11 years with Indian River County Sheriff's Office. I became a lieutenant. I was part of the Domino's Pizza Task Force.
Well, you were.
oh yeah.
And that's long before I got here. For people like me I've only been here 23 years.
Oh.
Update us because that was a national. That made national news.
Yeah, it was 2 escapees out of North Carolina, Wilkesboro, North Carolina, that had gotten away from a medium security prison and stolen a car, walked away from a road crew and stole a car, made their way through South Carolina to Atlanta. On Atlanta, they caught a bus to Jacksonville. From Jacksonville, they got off the bus and stole a car at a car lot. And they had the owner's property in the trunk. It happened to be the car he was using, and there was a handgun in there and some drugs, and they had a heyday coming down the way. And they got to Holly Hill and robbed a Kentucky Fried Chicken, locked everybody in the coolers, and then from there they came on down to Indian River County. When they got off of I-95, they had to make a choice to go right or left. They didn't know one from the other. So they turned right and went out to Yeehaw Junction.
Oh,
Checked into the motel out there. They asked the clerk where the nightlife was, and the clerk said, well, if you want nightlife, you got to go back east to Vero. And they came back that evening. They went to, what was the bar down there, the road that comes off of it's on US 1 and
26,
26.
yeah,
It's
it
gone
used to be
now.
green, yeah, they tore it down. John, what was the name of that? Anyway, I know.
They went to that bar.
Yeah.
From there, they,
It was a hot spot back
they were
there.
a big hotspot then. And they left there, and on the way back, they passed the Domino's Pizza, which was by the police department back then on 60,
Okay.
and went in there, and long story short, they ended up raping and murdering the owner's or the manager's wife, who was a driver for them, murdered the manager and murdered the cook.
I wonder why they decided to kill. What turns them from just, okay, a couple of bad boys having fun to wanting to murder and just
It was
whacked?
it was it was just a growing crime. The younger of the two, Tommy Wyatt was the younger. Michael Lovett was the older. The younger one is the one that kind of went sideways. They went to Tampa ultimately, and then brought a girl from Tampa back over here, murdered her out west of town,
Oh my God, I never knew this existed.
and then,
Yeah, that's very.
and then the police department was investigating it at the time. A guy he pulled over on the side of the road out in one of the dirt roads, and he looked over and saw the body laying there, and he happened to wave down a car. It happened to be the police chief at the time and his captain, who were helping in the investigation. That's when they formed the task force and brought in the prosecutors.
Now, just give us a timeline. Is this all happening within a week period, within a few days, within months?
They had the original crime happened within the same day they got here.
Yes.
3, and then it happened over the next approximately 3 weeks that the other Kathleen Nidegger was the woman from Tampa, and then once they got back to Tampa, they split up. And
Now, remember, I want people to know also, this is a different time. We didn't have Twitter. We didn't have Facebook. We didn't have cell phones like that. What year was this?
this is 1989.
Yeah. So this is.
And how we ultimately caught them, everybody was assigned jobs. They took the officers they felt could do the most good in the task force from the police department and sheriff's departments, and the prosecutors, Dave Morgan and Joe Wild, were very instrumental in that. They guided us.
How did they catch them? How did they nab these bad guys?
Well, I had ordered, by an order from Sergeant Dubose at the time, all the list of escapees or releasees from prisons from the southeastern United States. And I had gone to Lauderdale to interview a potential suspect, which was a dead end. And when I came back to the office, it was about 7, 8 o'clock at night. There was a package laying there, and it was from the state of North Carolina. I opened it up, and right on the top, there was 2 escapees that had escaped. And the address that one of them gave jumped right out, because the one of the suspects' address was a number, and I don't remember the number, but it was Boulevard Street. And that just rang a bell. And when they checked into the motel in Yeehaw Junction, we had the slip from when they checked into the motel. They used fictitious names.
What did the dummy put down his real address?
He put down not his actual numbers, but Boulevard Street and the city in North Carolina, Statesville, North Carolina.
So obviously this was not the sharpest knife in the drawer.
No, and that ultimately led us.
Attention to detail.
So-
The
so-
detail is what got the case cracked.
And what finally happened?
Well, Dave Morgan is the one that's, they're going home, and so we focused our efforts on them going home, and they did. First, Tommy ended up in North Carolina. He ended up on his way back in. He murdered a deaf mute in North Carolina, stole his car, and then they caught him shortly thereafter that same day,
This is the younger one?
the younger one.
Yeah,
And
well,
then,
he just wanted to kill.
and then Michael Lovett went back home and was in Statesville and was captured in a motel room without incident.
Now, have they been just killed by us yet, or you know,
Tommy died Tommy died in prison recently.
how old was
And I'm
Probably in his 50s, right?
he
50s
was,
or
he was
60s.
in his he was 19, 20 when he did this.
Okay,
So
not
he-
19 or 20, yeah. So what about the other guy?
He was, I think, 26 from memory.
So what's the other guy? Is he alive, or,
He's still in prison. He got a life sentence. Tommy
Yeah.
got death.
but do they actually, is life now?
Life's life for him, yeah.
Because they just let Reagan shoot her out of the pen, right?
Well,
Or was it the Reagan's or John Lennon's guy just got out a few weeks ago?
Yeah,
I think it was Reagan's.
I think that was a mental health issue. He was
Correct.
he was on a he was
Well, I don't want him out
different
there.
He was under different circumstances. He was with the mental health.
Let me ask this as a judge, and I'll ask the other judge, as I've asked the other judges running for circuit court. So it's not really your job to, your number one job is to execute the law.
Execute the law as the law reads. It's
correct.
I don't make the law. I
So you know, emotionally, as a man, as you know, our neighbor here in Vero Beach, as a regular guy. Are you a dad, by the way?
yes, I am grandfather.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Wonderful. How many children? How many grandchildren?
I have 2 children. I have 5 grandchildren.
One.
Yeah.
Been
Two
married
more than I
for,
do.
married? Now still-
Divorced at this time.
Okay. What else would we want to, but anyway, by making judgment, I mean, this is, so why do you want to be a judge? I would think that now, do you, if you don't mind my asking, you don't have to answer this, but, like your religious beliefs or spiritual beliefs, what are they?
I'm a Christian.
Okay.
I-
So as we judge, so shall we be judged. I would, and you know, and I'm not sure this is a healthy fear that I have, because it says in the book of Revelation that God does not like, he has no joy in the fearful soul. So, you know, you got to have a lot of guts though to get up there, and should you be elected judge, to execute judgment, because the balance of people's whole lives are in your hands.
Well, the laws of man are, the laws of man, and we have to obey the laws of man. And a judge's job is ultimately to uphold the laws of man. I think that my background here, excuse me, working the streets of this community, and then becoming a lawyer, a criminal lawyer, and I became a criminal defense lawyer rather than a prosecutor because I felt I could help individuals and continue to help individuals rather than just be an employee of the state and have the state of Florida as my client. The continuation to be a judge, I feel, is the same. I know this community. I'm part of one of the pioneer families from Indian River County, the Howard family. We just had the pioneer. We got the Pioneer Family Award.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Like, how many years ago did your family arrive here?
The 1800s.
Well, this is before it was Vero Beach.
It was Mosquito County back then.
Yes.
Was it really called Mosquito?
Literally Mosquito
It was
County.
called, okay, tell you what, Robert Meadows here, can you stick around for a while?
Sure.
Okay, Robert Meadows is a candidate for circuit judge, and that election is coming up on the 30th
Yes.
of this month, and we welcome you. We're gonna take a little break, and then we'll be back. This is the mayor of the airways. We also have Joseph Sempervivo in here. We have Larry Sempervivo in here, and of course we have Attorney Fromang. I'm Rick Palmer, the mayor of the airways. Joe Airman is out in the green room. We're going to invite him in too. This is the mayor of the airways. Today's broadcast brought to you by Route 60 Hyundai. You'll get a great deal, then you get a great deal of good
I
service.
got a wonderful deal and a great price.
Yeah. And why did you shop with him?
I shopped because I heard it on this show.
The mayor of the airwaves, the guy you can trust. Also, today's broadcast brought to you by Dr. Tim Ioannidis, Treasure Coast Dermatology. The skin cancer can be dangerous, pernicious. It can steal your life. Get a full body scan every year at Treasure Coast Dermatology over on 37th. We'll be right back. Good to have you here finally.
Yeah.
Thanks for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah, what an exciting case for you to get to work on. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
a bad case, but an exciting one. And,
Were you not there? Did you not, I mean, would you not pull you in? You're just there seeing the whole thing?
yeah, no, you know what I was thinking? I I was thinking, I was watching.
The theater of radio.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
say radio is more powerful when used that way than
Yeah.
than a regular vision, because that limits your imagination. Here you're going, I'm seeing the guy made up, and he has maybe lines on his face like this, and how high is he, and they're driving this car. And
I was thinking of the hotel, that beat up
That
hotel
cheap
out there.
That's
hotel.
the one that's,
Yeah.
but you know, most people don't remember the Domino's Pizza, and
Yeah.
it really gripped our community.
We moved here 10
I
years.
wasn't
I
here.
moved here 10 years after that. I moved in 99. You were here, you know, but I love your bracelet with the cross, the cross on your bracelet on the right hand.
Always.
Yeah.
why is that other guy there murdered? Is the young one who died in the
Tommy?
The reason we know a lot of the facts. Well, Tommy wouldn't say anything. Tommy.
Who was Tommy? The younger one?
The younger one.
Tommy what?
He was definitely a psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Just like one of these people that are running for president, who we just don't know which one yet.
yeah, the facts in that pizza restaurant were incredible. They walked in the front doors. There was nobody standing right there.
Yeah.
But right behind the counter, when they went behind the counter, they encountered the cook, put him in a one-holer bathroom. Then they encountered the wife, and they stuck her in the one-holer bathroom. They got the husband, who was the manager, trying to get him to open the safe. Had the gun to his head, cocked the gun. He was very nervous. He finally gets the safe open, and when he opens the safe, then they take him, and they're going to put him in the
Bathroom.
He tried to open the safe, couldn't open it the first time, so they took him and put him in the bathroom, took the wife out. When they took the wife out, they stripped her down, except I remember so vividly, her white socks and white tennis shoes. That's all she had on. Tommy raped her. And this guy's in the bathroom with this other guy, Bornouche. And so Tommy sticks the gun opens the door of the bathroom, and Bornouche is sitting under the sink, kind of like crouched under the sink. Took his wedding ring off and put it in the trash can so they wouldn't steal it. And Tommy stuck the gun in his ear, and he says, "If you listen close, you'll hear it coming," and then pulled the trigger. Then
Why do that?
he takes the girl out, he rapes her. He goes to put her back in there. Well, husband walks out, and she's standing there naked, his wife. He lunges, or he tells her to get in first. She gets in, he says, "Get down on your knees." Now Bornouche is stretched out, so now she puts her knees down like this, and he shoots her in the back of the head, right in front of the husband. The husband lunges at Tommy. He shoots him right between the eyes and then in the cheek, and he spins around, and he landed, his arm was around his wife like this. Yeah, three of them were stacked kind of on top of each other. Bornouche lived, I think, a week after being shot in the ear, but he ultimately died also. The Kathy Neidegger, they took her, Tommy was having sex with her. They were coming back to pick up the cocaine they left under the bridge. I mean, there's a whole lot to the story. But
you have like PTSD when it comes to, like as far as the vivid imagination, you see it all.
well, I handled all the
You
high
flashback?
profile, I did all the high profile crimes against children
Oh
the
my
last 6
God.
years of my career.
See, the question I was going to ask you on the air was Obama releasing all these so-called non-violent criminals, no one can actually say they're non-violent because you don't know what they will do. This case proves that there's a risk when you release 200-300 prisoners who are supposed to be non-violent, but they are violent. And you don't know what they're going to do when they get out. Nobody knows. So you're putting the public at risk by continually releasing these prisoners.
That's where I first met Bob Louis here, was doing criminal law. He was a deputy, and I was the defense lawyer. Would you agree with that, Bob Louis?
Oh yeah, that was
Huh?
many moons ago.
Yeah, many
Many
moons
moons
ago.
ago.
Hey, but wouldn't you say that of all the defense lawyers you ran into, was I fairly formidable?
Was that fairly formidable?
I don't,
He'll tell you.
you might say formidable, but I don't remember losing.
That's true. You were never on one when I was there.
I think the justice system is, right now, it's somewhat corrupt because there's too much influence by the federal government on what you can do.
Ooh, it's bad.
It's very bad because they're making the rules as they go along.
Yeah.
Now they tell the border patrol you can't arrest these people. If they're at a church, if they're here, they're there. The border patrol can't do their job
No.
anymore
Uh-uh.
because if you have an interference from the federal government, from a man who should not be president of this country.
I agree with that.
He does not have the good intentions of the American
No,
people.
he's a Marxist on mission, I call him.
I think he's more leans toward the Muslim and their rights than the rights of the American.
Oh, yeah.
And I just feel that way now, based on his actions. And I think we are in trouble. This country's in dire need of a
Major
leader.
trouble. Particularly when she's,
Only because they're more interested in civil rights than they are of the rights of other people. When a college says to a student, and they evict her from the school because she says all lives matter, I think that is a horrible thing. The First Amendment is gone.
Also touch on.
Why should she be punished and then take sensitivity classes because she said all lives matter? Only Black lives matter in America today.
Bob, are you in any rush or can you stay?
I can stay, sir.
Okay, so there's no, I just want to make sure no one gets offended by, we go back where we keep you on a long time, or anybody needs to rush in and rush out. I wanna make sure everybody-
Well, I think the greatest case of freedom of speech
Puts them in good light.
that a lot of people don't remember, and I think it brings light,
Boy, this
is
has been a candidate.
when the,
Were you here last week when all the candidates started?
and I don't recall his name, he walked up on the steps of the Supreme Court
Davis was
That was on
there.
Friday.
and he burned the American flag.
Oh, yeah, you stuck in,
And
but you were
our
not
entire
on.
nation was in an uproar, because how can you burn the American flag? But it was the greatest statement of freedom of speech there
Okay, you
was,
can stand up.
because we had
So would you take that
that,
red?
our right to freedom of speech goes that far.
Just go get next to my dad. Dad, this is Joe Urban. He's running for county commissioner. He's been a fireman.
How are you?
Yeah,
Let me sit down.
No.
It's all right.
Sit. No. I'll stand. No, I'm gonna stand next to you. I'm gonna stand next to you. Yeah, sure. Go ahead, just sit down. So I didn't tell you that I knew your son, Ben.
Okay. I didn't know that, yeah.
Yeah,
50 seconds.
At sunrise, let me just move my stuff
Mr.
real quick,
Froman.
Joe. At Sunrise Theater.
Yes,
I
he
went,
was working down there.
Yeah.
He worked for Senior Resource now. But
Yeah,
he
I went and
works there
talked-
part-time.
Okay, come on, we got 25
I
seconds.
went and talked to John and I told
Okay, Joe
John
Ehrman,
how great
Joe,
Ben was. I didn't even know he was your son.
Bob Meadows. You prefer Bob or Robert?
Bob.
Okay.
The headset, you don't need them, but you can put them
Please don't touch our mics as we ask you, no, the actual mics don't touch. Just so you know. What we should do is ahead of time, I try to tell Sean is that he should actually come in and say, do not touch your mics. I will adjust and coordinate, and then, you know what I mean? So, one of these days, after 23 years, one of these days we'll get professional around here.
Yeah.
There we go, right?
Well, it's time for politics. Hello, this is the mayor of the airwaves. No, I'm not running for office, but I have a lot of people in town are running for office, and we have to salute all of them for putting their hat in the ring and wanting to be a part of our community and serving. Joe Ehrman is in the studio. Joe Ehrman is a highly respected firefighter. You were a chief, weren't you?
Yeah, I was a captain. I was in charge of a shift.
Captain in charge of a shift. Okay. And we welcome you again. You've been on a number of times. I've known you throughout the years. It's good to have you here. He's retired and decided he wanted to give back to his community.
I did. Running for county commission,
Running for county commission,
District 3.
okay.
It'll be decided in August. Yep.
It will be decided in August.
Yes.
Robert Meadows is in here. Robert Meadows is a candidate for circuit judge. Good morning, Robert
morning.
Meadows.
Good
Good to have you in here.
Thank you. Thank you for
Finally,
having me.
glad you could stop in, you know? Took Mr. Frommine to get you in here. You're
Yes.
so dang busy.
Yes.
But I guess it is a busy time going. The thing is, and anybody can jump in. We also have Joseph Sempervivo. Good morning, my friend, my adopted brother, Joseph.
Great morning to you, Rhett.
Did you bring me cookies? No, I hope not.
They're actually in your cabinet because you buy them at the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, I do. Dollar Tree, right. I love the Dollar Tree. And I will tell you, I was just up in Vermont. I was up in Stowe, and I walked into a store, you know, regular tourist store. They have like, you know, pharmaceuticals, but they also have, you know, sunglasses and things. So I'm turning this little thing around. I need some sunglasses. And I see $39. And I go, these don't look much different than the ones I got in my car, drove 8 miles to another town nearby where they have a Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
And I had the same thing, total UV protection, everything. So it's funny, in today's world, you know, the con, not con. Now, I know times like I like to buy Dollar Tree reading glasses. I will say the ones that Barbara picks out at Stein, we go to the high class, but at Steinmart are like, you know, 15, 16, and they are superior. They have, you know, the things will go like this. Anyway.
I want to bring up something.
Mr. Meadows is in here. Why is he talking about this? And you know what? I really don't know.
I
was probably going somewhere.
I wanted to bring up something. So you have Counselor from in the studio, right?
Yes.
And then you have my dad, who is a former printer, and he's an inventor and an entrepreneur. So you look in this room, you have it's like Patriotic Thursday. You have a former law enforcement officer, Robert Meadows,
Yes.
who went to law school, you know, in his 40s.
Put himself through laws.
Put himself through non-traditional student, and then is now running for circuit court judge. And then we have a fireman in our presence who served our community, sacrificed, ran into burning buildings to save people's
Average
lives.
lifespan?
58, 26 and a half
57,
after you retired.
57 is average lifespan.
57.
Is that
years old.
because of delayed stress, or is that because of the ones that die, so it skews, you know, skews it to the left?
No, it's the stats all show it's delayed stress, and it's the medical part of it. You know, we're 11 times more likely to get cancer than a smoker.
Yes.
Because
That
of going
kind
to
of stuff.
smoky buildings and stuff.
Right.
But the one thing you do have that a lot of us don't have, and when you get older, you reflect on these things. I do envy you guys this. I envy the brotherhood.
That is for sure.
Because there's someone, you know, somebody's got your back. Or you'll take a bullet for them.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things I missed. It's a brotherhood in the fire station, only, you know, because you're living with somebody there 24 hours at a time, every third day. A third of my life was spent.
That's why I didn't become a fireman,
department.
because I don't think they would have kicked me out.
Well, they work the whole time. I mean, you work the whole time that you're in there, though. It's not just watching movies and eating pizza.
I wish it was that.
Right.
But it's not that.
What is a typical day if there's no fire?
Typical day, you come in, you get there about 7:30 in the morning, because your shift's technically from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock the next morning, a 24-hour rotation. You come in at 7:30 in the morning, you get information passed on from the previous crew as to what happened, what did the day hold, what broke down, what happened, what equipment broke down, what equipment didn't, everything in good shape, did you have anything unusual? Basically passed on the information. And then 8 o'clock, you start your normal day. You check out your truck, you check out your equipment. You know, officers read their reports from yesterday, and that, you know, that lasts a pretty good part of the morning. Maybe you have breakfast if you had time to cook it, if you weren't running calls already. And so all the way through lunch, it's pretty much administrative stuff. Then after lunch, it becomes the training day. That's where you do most of your training, unless something was scheduled in the morning. But most of the time in the normal day, all afternoon was taken up with doing whatever medical training, you know, paramedic training, fire training, anything specific at the time would be throughout the day. That would be in the afternoon. And then in the afternoon, then we go to the grocery store at some point in time there, and then we have a nice meal. Everybody at, you know, 6:30 in the afternoon.
Food time.
But you know what's interesting? Isn't it true though? When you go to the grocery store, you're only allowed to go once, and you have to pay out of your own pocket for everything you buy.
Oh,
right?
absolutely. Yeah, no, we pay out of our own pocket. Everybody splits it. You come back, somebody will pay, and then
Hold on, let me ask you
everybody will
this.
split it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's right, if you have to stay 24 hours, but I will ask you this. why 24 hours? Now, I used to do a 12-hour shift as a security guard at Albany Medical Center when I was in college.
Right.
And I got to tell you, doing 12 hours is a long haul from 8 at night to 8 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then you go home, you might eat a little bit, you sleep, you get up at 4, whatever it is, then you got to shower, shave, it's time to go back to work. So you lose 3 or 4 days of your life. You can say, oh, well, but then you're off for a few days.
Right.
I don't know. And you did that for how many years?
35 years, 35 and a half years.
So now how does it feel now to be back on a normal person's schedule?
It's a little bit different, but it's amazing. At night, the dog will bark or something. I can still wake up and be coherent within a few seconds. That's still,
Is there a
that's still
situation,
something I'll never do, but it's kind of nice to be retired.
a
I'm
big
not gonna
jet
lie.
crashes here
Right.
and they don't have enough people? Are you still able, are they able to call you and say, hey, Joe, we need you to participate, come out of retirement?
They
and
probably
help us?"
wouldn't because of insurance,
Oh.
insurance reliability reasons. But could I do it? Yeah, sure I could.
You keep on saying, normal, now that you have a normal life.
What is
But
normal?
look, you just jumped into running for county commissioner. So your schedule
Yeah.
on that has got to be
Let's
pretty
ask
crazy.
you this. Why are you doing that? Why you're happy, you got a good retirement here. Oh, by the way, there's rumors on the street. Oh, Joe Ehrman's got $204,000 a year.
I think they need to ask my wife.
Yeah.
I was a fireman. Fireman and Bob, all right, firemen and policemen don't make that kind of money.
And people do need to hear that because it is the talk. Whoa, well, that guy's got all kinds of money. They get $108,000 a year, and then with insurances and health and blah, 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 it's $204,000, whatever it is a year.
I spent 35 years. I get a retirement. I earn about what I was making when I left. That's what I get. My insurance is the same. My insurance actually went up. I pay a little more in insurance because I'm not employed. As a non-employee, you still get a good deal through the state and through the county, but I pay more than for my insurance, my medical insurance I was paying when I was working. It's a different formula.
And he has a
for
son,
that.
Ben, who comes in here frequently from the
So
Theater Guild.
yes, I do. I have another son that works at the sheriff's department. He's
Oh.
a deputy sheriff. My youngest, Sam, is 26 years old. He's been in the sheriff's department about a year and a half now.
Okay, so why specifically, and we'll get back to Mr. Robert Mendes is also in here. We're a candidate for a circuit judge. So if you give me a couple months, we'll get back to you, sir. But so why are you running against Mr. Sork? It is the incumbent. It's always hard
Sure.
to get an incumbent out unless people get nasty, and you two have not.
Sure.
Do you remember when what's the other guy, Lowther, when he got real nasty and he was the incumbent?
Right.
And then they couldn't get elected then or 4 years later. This community doesn't accept, and I have to hand it, I don't think we've had anybody getting real nasty. Because the judges can't. They're
No.
not allowed to, right? You're just allowed to kind of give your personality and who you are, and then
Exactly.
I have heard nothing from the
There's-
nasty, from
there's-
any of the judges.
There are some nasty campaigns. If you looked at the Senate,
The
7.
nastiest one was the
Sen-
one, but we won't go with the one you were involved with. Of course, that's not really.
Yeah, I'm not
Public
retorting.
office.
I won't say
No.
anything nasty,
No,
period,
no,
about my
no.
opponent. I don't believe in it. But Senate District 17 got really nasty against Debbie Mayfield.
Oh,
But,
it did?
yeah,
Who's running against her?
Workman.
Workman.
The guy
Really,
that works up north?
yeah, he got aggressive. But you asked a question
Yes,
to Joe
Joe.
Urban.
Yeah.
Why don't I run it?
Yeah, why against, is there something you
I
didn't
had
like that was done, or?
I have I've lived here all my life. I have a good knowledge of what happens in the county, where we've been, where we need to go. I know how to.
So you lived your whole life here, as he
I lived my
has,
whole
right?
life
So we've got two families that are solidly ingrained
My
roots
family's
here.
been here. My family's been here since 1928. My grandfather moved here
Really?
from West Palm Beach.
He's
And
80 what?
I was
How many
fifth
years?
generation
81,
Floridian.
86 years.
Yeah, my great
1928.
1928.
Oh,
He's
19,
been here since
1920.
1928. How many years is that?
88 years.
That
Yeah.
means my mom would be 88.
I just
now.
wanted to add one point. There's 4, just to be factual, there's 4 people running for county commissioner. It's Joe Urban, Tim Zork, Mark
Rodolico.
Rodolico,
guy.
and
Mark
Kirby,
Kirby.
Chuck Kirby.
Right,
Yeah,
Chuck
just,
Kirby.
yeah.
Right.
Oh, what's amazing is Mark Rodolico got himself on the ballot as Mark the hair guy.
Yeah.
Rodolico. And how do you do that? So that means if I ran, wouldn't that be unfair though if I ran against somebody? Let's say it's 4 years from now, I decided to run for office. That's not really fair. They run with Rhett Palmer, the mayor of the airways, and I can do it. 'Cause
Yeah.
believe me, I've gone through the attorneys now and I own that sucker.
Yeah.
Nationally.
You could run for city council and you would be the mayor before getting elected to mayor.
But then again, I've been on the air 23 years, long enough to get somebody pissed off at me for something. So everybody's loved me and everybody's hated me.
I think the way I read it, and Bob may even know this, but the state law says if you're known by a particular name,
Yeah.
that if you're
A
known by,
nickname.
if you're known by that.
So do you have a
can do
nickname?
that. No, I don't have a nickname. Well, probably some I probably couldn't repeat, but.
Now we have your name is Joseph, you're Go Joe, you're Joseph, there's another Joe,
Yeah.
the right Joe, or whatever he's calling himself.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
And we have Larry, and let's get back up to Robert Meadows.
I'm on the ballot as Robert Bob Meadows. because I'm
Robert
known as
Bob.
Correct.
Yeah, that's the same thing as I did. I did Joseph and then in quotations Joe, Sempre Vivo. Yeah.
Because I didn't know whether I should call you Robert or Bob. But I thought, I asked you permission before we got on, but now I realize why, because you're known as Bob Meadows.
Yeah.
But Robert's, of course, sounds a little more judgy. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like, ooh.
Well, I think.
All rise.
I think ironically, you were talking about a brotherhood in the fire department. Joe and I have answered many calls together, me as a deputy and him as a firefighter.
I've been Bob's family and Bob's on my family ever since we've all been here.
Well, he's a Pioneer family too.
Yeah, so when.
You were here in 1928, your family, you were here, your family was what,
In the
18?
1800s.
1800s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
we're
Urbans
both
have been-
fifth generation.
We should do after this election, so I should have these people back in to talk about, you know, do a historical.
Vera.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, as a first responder, though, I mean, you have to work together, and you have that natural bond because you're both putting yourself in danger to protect the citizenry. I mean, whether it's in law enforcement or
Back in the 70s and 80s, and the sheriff's department, we were really light-handed, as was the fire department, and we leaned on each other.
Yeah.
There were fire scenes that I've dragged hoses, and there were police scenes when the presence of the fire department was my backup.
Of course, now it's like when you're making a major motion picture, they go, oh no, we need that light move, that it can only be moved by a gaffer and his union. And now I wonder if a police officer could move that stuff.
And that relationship is still pretty good. Like Bob said, we had a great relationship because it was smaller. We knew everybody. I mean, Bob and I knew each other real well. I mean, we knew each
That's
other
the way it
even
should
before
be.
that. And it's still that way. The police and the firemen still in this county get along very well.
But I would say
Get along
this,
very well.
that I think Sheriff Law, I was sitting there doing an interview with him one day, and all of a sudden it dawned on me, this guy has a harder job than any, and I've been friends with other sheriffs here, any sheriff's ever come down the pike. Things are different. Now that we have these cameras, everybody's taking pictures with their, you know, I don't know about you, but I forget what it was like not to have life with Facebook. I forget what it was like not to have this thing. And, you know, the fact that, you know, people are taking pictures, that the blue lives matter, black lives matter, white everybody's lives matter. And I tell you, I had who's the famous heavy black deputy? Is my friend Teddy Floyd.
Mhm.
Teddy Floyd came in and he put a thing up at night and, will you please pray for me? He's scared, and he immediately had like 24,000 views of this little video. Man, everybody was afraid, black or white. He's wearing blue, and you know it's a tough road. Then on top of that, then we got ISIS. And we got terrorists, and of course, we had some of those terrorists right here in this town.
Snipers.
I mean, can you imagine being Sheriff Law?
Well,
He's done a great job. By the way, don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. You know, to your point though,
Wow.
when you have firemen arriving on a scene, and you have the SO or any law enforcement arriving on
What's
the scene,
SO mean?
Sheriff's office,
Okay.
and you have anybody arriving on the scene, the last thing they're going to do is say, well, is that part of my union? Am I allowed to do that? What they care about is running into the burning building or going and saving people's lives.
Correct.
It isn't like, well, I can't help my brother in law enforcement. I can't help my brother in fire.
I've got a question I want to
Is
ask.
that right, Joe? I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know why some people get carried up with a union stuff when it comes to firemen or policemen that have them. I mean, every professional group has a it's not a special interest, has a organization that backs them up. In the fire department and in police unions, you can only negotiate wages, hours, and working conditions. That's all. You can't negotiate how you do things, what color uniform you wear, what color your fire trucks are, your police cars are. It's just about safety.
Let me ask you this.
And that's the bottom
You know,
line.
for years, I
That's the
stood up for
bottom
the
line.
firemen.
Right.
From the time I started here 23 years ago, you guys have been coming on my show, and I've stood behind you guys and beside you guys, and as you have me. Now, I want to know this about an emotional that now, you know, about 2 years ago, cancer situation, Barbara fell down, broke her leg. Now, we call 911, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting. Well, finally, the fire trucks go, And I'm at my front door, literally screaming at the firemen, saying, where the heck have you, we just got the call 2 minutes ago. So obviously there's a glitch somewhere with this 911 crap,
Dispatch.
but I'm ticked off. So but you guys are there for me. You take care of us. We get her to the hospital. Thank God, cancer-free now. And I don't want to break up crying now, but so I thank you all. But I was pretty emotional with you guys. And I thought the next day, I said, geez, here I love the firemen. I wondered if you forgave me, for being emotional. I thought, I bet you run into a lot of people in that situation. You probably go, hey, man,
Right.
people have a right to be emotional in a situation
Sure
like
they
that.
do.
I mean, you guys give us
Bob
a little.
can tell you, he hadn't been out of it that long. We see the best of the best and the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
You see people that are so emotional over like their car getting in an accident, and I used to go up to people and say, look, you're sitting here breathing, talking, walking.
Yeah.
That car is the last thing you need to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
You have insurance that'll take care of it, or whatever. Even if you don't, you're still breathing, walking, and talking. That car is the most unimportant thing in your life. So we deal with that every day. People being emotional and stuff like that. It's part of it. People handle stress in different ways.
I think that's to bring it back to the judgeship with that issue. It's those things that separate me from the other candidates, because I know this dirt. I know these people. I know the victims and what they feel, because as Joe, I've picked up victims. I've had people die in my arms at traffic accidents from this community, not from somewhere else. I know how the people of this community feel, and
You bet.
Joe can attest to this, that it's different on the Treasure Coast than it is in Palm Beach. It's different here than it is in Orlando.
You bet.
The people are. There's people, Steve Romang, myself, Joe, we're all from here.
Yeah.
So in this room, you have native, not just Floridians, but natives from Vero Beach, from the Treasure Coast, born and raised here.
Yeah.
And it makes a difference.
Would you say you're intuitive? I'm an intuitive guy. Are you intuitive? I mean, I guess what you become. Why am I asking this? Because I wonder if you're on the bench, outside appearances can be deceiving. I've heard from many people in this town, Judge Cox saved my life.
Yeah.
One is because she was so damn severe, she said, you're going into the clinker. The other one is, she said, you're going into rehab or something, or knowing what to do. So the balance of knowing what somebody's looking at you, and it's like in the Bible, it says, God, a bruised reed he will not break. Have you ever been in a place, I think all of us in this room, have you ever been broken? Have you ever been really hurting, and somebody was tender towards you, just put a hand on your shoulder, or a kind, gentle word at a time of need? And so how do you differentiate that, knowing that, okay, they know they messed up. They're standing in front of a judge. Now in the balance lays their future,
I think that brings in the next part of my career as a criminal defense lawyer.
Yeah.
Because I know, and Mr. Froman can attest to this one, I know defendants. I know how they feel. That every defendant that walks into your office is feeling some type of emotions. They're somewhere mentally. There's people that do crimes. There's people that do crimes all the time. There's bad things happen to good people. And you have to know these things and be able to temper yourself, I believe, as a judge, as you mentioned, Judge Cox, if she can look across her bench and she can see this one needs rehab, this one needs to go to prison.
Yeah.
And
Protecting.
Who's repentant and who's not repentant?
And at the same time, you've got to follow the law.
All right, we're going to take a break. We have, of course, Joseph from Joseph's Cookies here. We have his dad, Larry Sempervivo. How are you, Larry?
Oh, I'm great, as usual.
We have Joe Ehrman in here running for county commissioner against Rodolico,
Zork
Zork,
and Kirby.
and Kirby. Mr. Kirby has not entered the room yet, though, in the past few months. We should work on that, Robert Meadows is in here, first time in here. Bob Meadows,
Yes.
local guy, running for circuit judge, invited by Mr. Froman today. And I'm really
Yes.
glad you did invite this candidate for circuit judge and
Yes.
Mr. Meadows.
very
And
happy.
Robert Bob Meadows
Robert Bob
on
Meadows.
the ballot.
Yeah, Robert Bob.
Number 2 on the ballot.
Hello.
And this is the mayor of the airwaves, self-appointed, elected by one. We have Sean behind the glass. How you doing? You enjoying us this morning, Sean? Okay, we're gonna take a little, good to see you. We'll take a break. We'll be back.
Confirmed by accolade.
We got a,
Well, sure, pleasure meeting you. Wish you lots of luck.
Thank you, sir. Didn't I see you yesterday?
didn't see you yet.
19 more days, boys.
I gotta be out in Okeechobee at 5:45 for.
Yes, you got a huge district, man, that you're
Do
traveling.
you guys ever speak together, like a panel debate, or no? I guess they can
Yes,
do it.
they call them forums rather than debates when the judges. Basically, it's about yourself, like you said. I can say, hi, I'm Bob, I'm from Bureau, all the things.
But you can't castigate the other guys.
No, I can say that my career led me to ask for the vote. Because every step of my career has led me to a judge. I have the most diverse background of anybody.
Now, how old are you?
It's got nothing to do with how you guys are.
Oh, you're younger.
Union stuff is way
4 years younger than
working.
That was a good point.
I was worried about getting older.
What I liked,
I'm at a point where now,
you know, I think
if someone made this
Hearing
decision to
about-
go down this road,
everybody thinks when you're at a
the
fire
fruition
station,
of that.
like Flo and I were talking about
You
it.
know,
Everybody thinks
we've
when
been
you're at a
doing,
fire
I've been
station,
doing this.
you know, you're just
20 years.
sleeping, your legs
How
are
we're
kicked up,
different.
you're getting paid,
You know?
you're not
I was
scrubbing
just
the
telling
fire
you
truck,
that
you're
no
not doing
matter our
inventory of the fire
decisions of
truck,
where
you're
we
not
pick
training,
up,
you're not,
it's funny,
you know,
I'm
but,
4
and
years
then
older
all
than
your
him.
food is provided
he
for
looks like a
free
judge.
when you're driving there.
And a lot of that stuff, you don't look
was-
like a kid, you look like an older man.
He looks like a judge.
So, yeah, I would agree with that. What is strange, Romang, is this,
Everybody comes by the
is
fire
that I've
station,
chosen a certain route. You know, my dad was an attorney.
social place.
Yeah.
But had I become an attorney, I'd be a different human. It's like now, later on in life, you see
Probably
the
150
fruition
calls a
of
day.
those years. And I go, well, how come you seem as more, well, he cultivated that. And I go, not that I should belittle my giftings, but I tend to go, well, mine are kind of superficial, I'm on Mr. Entertainment, you know. And then you go with a guy like this who chose to be balanced more, you know, and you go,
Right, right.
I don't know, it's just a strange, it's a very strange, this being,
There's no
it's
time
getting
for that,
older.
you know, you don't get
and
a
reflection
reflection
comes.
maybe.
You know, and other people
Station
chose
6
different
on
routes,
the
you know?
board.
I mean, they'll
Yeah.
never know
Yeah.
success.
Well,
Some
let me-
people are
let
living
me
in a
just
cardboard
say-
box. they'll
yeah,
live
let
in
me
a
just say
cardboard
South
this.
County, you're in Sebastian,
That
you're not sleeping.
we need balance on that bench.
box. Oh, yeah, I know.
I'm just telling you, we
We
need
made
balance
That's
on
not
that
what I'm
bench.
talking
Lasagna.
about. I'm
My
talking
mom,
about life,
and
all of us.
we took it
Yeah,
down to the
but
station
where
when it
I'm
was on
concerned, we
82nd.
need balance on the
moved.
bench.
So we brought
Let me
everything
ask
to the
you this.
guys there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How
just
come
because
you're
we brought back
enthusiastic?
cookies.
Sometimes
Oh,
you
yeah.
can be a little
Yeah.
loud
Yeah.
here.
And those guys,
But every
remember
time
those guys
I
too.
pull you up on the
When they
phone.
get a medical call in one of the trailer parks out there,
Look at that.
it's
You
a
always
long
answer
call
them.
to go up here.
I've been overlooked.
And then go
Yes.
back and
Well,
then
we can do that.
Yeah.
Just because of the time.
And what's
but
this thing, this
a call
radio,
station
this
one,
telephone?
Dixie, they can pick up somebody right here.
Because then Corey's been asked like also.
Yeah.
Oh, is he?
But those calls,
You've seen
in
him?
Ellesmere and South Beach.
That's what we're
and
talking
about.
Those guys are,
Now there,
those are,
he's a smart
they're
dude.
involved with that patient
This
for a
guy
long
has
period of
quotes.
Yeah.
I mean, like
Yeah.
Shakespearean quotes and
time.
stuff. You go,
They don't, it doesn't.
where does he get this from? Like the one, what's the one you used with the judge recently?
We had a guy.
With Cox.
I want to
It
learn
worked.
the one on Mercy. Say it again.
Yeah, but it worked.
By the time they pick up somebody.
I
they
told
take
her,
them, they're catching
this
another one on their way back.
This old boy was
You just
sitting there, and
it's
of
like a
course,
rubber band.
state attorney wanted to
Bam,
drop
bam, bam,
and had a bomb on him like
The
always.
guys used to come
And I
in
turned
and,
to Judge Cox, and I
train in the
looked at this
polo
old man,
grounds,
and I looked at
because
her,
that's
and I
where I
said,
and they
Your
would
Honor,
connect to the
wherefore mercy,
to the
if not to
the
confront the
hydrants.
visage
So they
of
would do
offense?
drills while they were in
I
the
said, he's
polo
got his hair
grounds,
much
which I
little
thought was
bit,
really cool. So
but-
I would go out there and
but
talk to the guys.
he don't
Hey,
deserve what
we brought wine.
they're
We have
wanting.
everything that we need.
And she said, I
Polo
agree.
grounds right
You know,
now.
it's just like that attorney over here.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I will
Right
tell you,
behind it,
Chandler,
there's like a
that
little
attorney
bit
went to
of
jail for 36
And so they would come in and they would,
Ira
they would do,
Bubba.
Okay,
they
Ira.
would do,
But Ira used to give
little
me
training,
$500 a
and,
month. and
so I
said,
just
put-
thought that
put
was,
it this
I
month
asked
for
why, they said,
the,
oh, well, sometimes we like to change it up a
Red
little bit.
Cross,
and
put it on this
get-
month for
But they
the
were
Salvation
really
Army.
awesome
It
guys.
wasn't all, no
you
one's
know.
all bad.
Yeah,
He
but they
borrowed
moved
from his
that
escrow.
station.
Yeah,
was
they're
Very bad. I do understand you have to be held to a higher
Better.
accountability, but
place was
you
full of
watch that
mold,
TV show,
and they were
with
forced
Stacey
to go in
Keach
there.
on TV, American Criminals or whatever. You got guys who stole $1 billion and they're getting 8 years, 10 years max in New York City. Ira Hatch should not be in jail for 30-something years.
John Cord
Huh? It's a life. It's a
took
life
2
sentence.
million.
It's a life sentence, Ira.
They
That's
moved,
not
I was
fair.
at Station 1, we're going over
How-
there. So they
can that
moved
be
us out of
reversed at
Station
all?
3,
Can anybody have
so
mercy on
Station
him?
1
Can
was
will he
full.
get out
They
on
did
good
that right away.
time?
They did a couple right away.
Unless
but that
You
was
can't-
Obama.
You couldn't release him.
How,
For
now
the
what do they
one
do with that
reason.
building?
What?
You wouldn't
What's-
know if
do they
tomorrow he's
ultimately
going
put
to
it up
be
for
in.
sale? Like,
Your
They could, or they'd tear it down.
Or mine.
Have a piece of premium property.
People change. You
Because
just
Low
said
Block- Low
Mercer,
Block,
what
that
more
used to
than
be
this
a
is a job.
fire station.
It's not so much that. But thieves,
That's what I was just wondering. I
unlike
didn't know if they
any
went out,
other-
you know,
other
liquidated
transgression,
them or whatever.
it's one of the big 10.
Was
Thou
it,
shalt not
I think you're
steal.
good
was
now,
it
'cause they wanna free
thievery
up the
or
seat.
was it
You're
It was
good to go.
theft.
people going to their
When
escrow
you,
accounts?
when,
And
okay,
I don't
you don't know
know.
the Schlitz.
1 minute,
They have to
20
be
seconds,
family
guys.
friends from dirt, and I can tell
And
you,
he took their money?
that, no,
Yeah, so
he
it was good.
abused their trust.
Hey, Rhett,
The money was secondary.
Joe's gonna head out.
Okay, Joe, we're cool.
You know, I mean, I
You
can
got
say
20
it's
seconds.
up to you.
It's up to you.
Whether you- or not.
Oh.
Whatever you want.
I didn't know if you, I didn't know.
Is anybody else here?
You had, I think there's 2 more coming in, 2 more people. 2 more candidates.
Judge, I don't see anybody.
I got plenty I can do.
Yeah.
Hey,
Let's
listen
go
to
put
this.
us on my side.
Bob Lee,
So I was out there holding signs this morning.
deputy, calls in, Bolo, be on lookout for it. White Chevy truck, diamond toolbox on the back, driving rack.
Pleasure to see you again.
Deputy
Yeah,
runs,
signs.
drives 1,000 miles
Go,
an hour.
Joe, go,
That's
Joe.
it.
And doesn't see
Every time I
anything
say it,
and
remind me of my
sees
son,
a
so-
small Ford Ranger driving along and pulls it. Morgan yesterday looks to the state and says, this is, why you don't think this is a bad stop? Says, because the tipster was obviously mistaken. The tipster really meant to say white Ford Ranger without a toolbox. And Judge Morgan looked at her, went like this, what do you say, Mr. Fromme? And I was back, my mouth fell wide open. Judge Morgan asking me what my thoughts are about that idiotic statement over there. And
Hey, come on, guys, coming back
I
in.
think you're on the air.
I just couldn't,
Are we
I didn't know
on?
what to say.
You're on the
Finally,
air.
I said, Judge,
I got radio to do.
That's it, watch my guitar.
Oh, my 23 years of being on air here. As I say, been on the air so long, even the people that don't like me listen to me now. But why I bring that up is it's great to be part of the community. I've got all these movers and shakers in here. And what I mean by movers and shakers, people that care about our community. We got Bob Meadows, Robert Bob Meadows, candidate. His family's been here since
I don't know the exact.
1800s. He's running for circuit judge. We also have Joe Ehrman. His family's been here since 1928. That's the birth date of my mom. That's I can remember that so easily. And he's was a firefighter for how many years?
35 and a half years.
35 and a half years. Is now retired. And his wife says, "You got to get out of the house. Run for candidate."
I actually think that's what you said. You might have hit the nail on the head.
that's good humor.
Of course, we have Mr. Frommang in here. Attorney Frommang. Good morning, Attorney Frommang.
Good morning, Rhett. Good morning. And it's such a pleasure to have Joe and Bob here with us today. I've been begging Bob to get on here, and so he can introduce himself to the Treasure Coast. He's one of the most respected. I just want to say this, Bob, and I hope you don't mind. One of the most
Now,
respected.
you have to watch out because you say too much nice, he'll have to recuse himself when you come into his court of law, you know.
That's pretty good.
All right. All right. Okay. Unfiltered. It's unfiltered. Come on. It's unfiltered. Stop it.
Okay, Mr. Frommang. Anyway, your brother is, of course, Dr. David Frommang, urologist extraordinary. Your son is a
Yeah.
doctor at the Indian River Medical Center.
Yes. Yes. But
And
like
it
David,
goes on and on and on. Oh, and
Yeah.
who's the one brother that's been listening to my show since I first got here? 20
brother
years ago?
Brian,
Brian, used
yes.
to work up at Disney. He'd call
Vero
me.
High.
You know, when I was lonely over there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, my little rinky-dink show, I'd get phone calls. Brian was there, so God bless Brian.
Go Indians. You
Faithful
bet.
from long ago.
You
We
bet,
also have
man.
Joseph Sempervivo in here, who's a good friend, like a brother. He's been lived here. How many years have you been here?
Since 1999.
1999.
And you're running for
Oh, that's right. Yeah. we
Committee
can't
man.
forget that.
State
You're
committee
right.
man.
Republican
Yeah,
State Committee
I'm so
man.
used to hanging out with you. I forget you're running for
Well, when you
office.
got all the big shots in here, I'm at the bottom of the ballot.
Oh, stop it. I'm blinded by your radiance.
And of course, that's not really a public office. That's a Republican office.
Yeah, it's a
I'm
party
surprised
office.
they even put that on the ballot because it's
They have
really
to.
legit. Why?
They have to because other people want to do it. So
What do
you
you mean?
let,
No, well, you can't be a Democrat and vote for you, can you?
No, it's only Republican. It's in the primary on
You know
August
that Beverly
30th.
in our studio here, the little lady that handles everybody's coffee and stuff, she actually went from being an independent,
Right.
became a Republican 2 weeks ago or 3, whatever it was, so she could vote for you.
104 people in the county since I announced switched from constitutionalist,
That you know. of.
independent,
Yeah.
that I know of, independent or libertarian, even
Really?
some Democrats,
Just so they could.
just so they could vote for us in August 30th.
And of
bet.
course, the only pure human being in here, of course, is Larry, because he's not running for office. I'm the mayor of the airways, so that means I'm a politician too. So I mean,
That's right.
you're the only pure one in here.
I'm just a poor workman.
You're a good Catholic boy, right?
Absolutely,
Yeah, believe in Jesus.
absolutely.
And you're 81 years of age.
That's right.
You were broke at the age of 50, had to sell eggs door to door because somebody, a thief, ripped off their family business when they went on vacation to the restaurant. The guy sold the furnishings and everything. Come back. It's not
Horrible.
funny though. They were bankrupt, and then they got a 9-year-old son who's got.
Diabetes,
Diabetes.
insulin
They
dependent.
come up
Yeah.
with an idea later on. He's selling eggs door to door. They come up with an idea for Joseph's cookies, sugar-free cookies. By the time he was 15, he started ice cream thing, but the ice cream kept melting, so they moved into cookies. You can read the book; it's going to be a movie. And here you are, the dad.
Well, out of something bad, something good happened.
yes.
and now you're.
But you got to keep a positive
Joseph doesn't want me to
mind.
talk about your Bentley or your.
No,
Brett, don't do it.
Can I ask you this? Why buy that stuff? Is it kind of like I always wanted a Mercedes Benz because I said, God, please someday, not the Mercedes, but the lifestyle that goes with it. Now I got the Mercedes Benz. Now I'm working harder than ever to. Got to keep the. Anyway.
Well, the truth, the
Why?
truth of the
Why the
matter
Rolls
is, well, the truth of the matter is, my mom and I bought these for my dad. He didn't go out and buy it for himself, so
Right.
that's the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
On your daddy.
Yeah, well, that was reward for me for all the sacrifices
Yep.
we did,
Yeah.
skipping meals and everything. But
Yeah.
you know, a lot of people get dealt a bad blow in life, but it's how you accept it.
It is.
And instead of being defeated, keep a positive attitude. Go out and do
We
something
have a girl
about
that's working for us now, new gal, and Gabby. So somebody missed an appointment. You get you're all excited, you're new doing something, and somebody canceled the appointment. A couple hours ahead. So it's kind of oh. I said, how does it make you feel? She says, I'm going to go out and I'm going to go back there. I'm going to call all these other people.
Mhm.
Now that's the sign of a champion.
Yes.
Right.
But it's like Sinatra. They said he was a champ because he kept getting. People don't know the rough years. He kept getting back
Oh,
up
yeah.
again. You know.
You bet.
it. Oh, yeah, there was a time nobody would hire him.
Let me ask you this. Now, as the non-politician in this room, the only well, no, actually, Mr. Froman, you're not running for office.
No, I haven't as yet.
But he is an attorney, so.
He does have a doctorate in philosophy, so
Yes,
he's
I
kind
do.
of a politician. Yeah.
Yes,
that's
yes, I'm,
That's what
I'm quite the educated person, but nothing. I'm a small shadow compared to this titan sitting beside me, Bob Meadows and Joe Ehrman over there.
Let's defer to Larry, though. I want you to feel free, to ask them, what's on your mind? How do you make a decision I've met all 4 candidates for judgeship. They all seem to be honorable, good gentlemen.
You bet.
Every one of you. And I have to thank you for running for office. Just the fact you're willing to do that, because that's a big commitment. I'm sure you're probably a little bit better off than me. You probably could retire. We already know Joe can retire. He can do whatever. He could travel the world. What does he want to do?
Well, he's
Now,
already
gonna be-
retired.
Should he win, he'll be obligated to be here. What, for a meeting every week, 2 meetings every week? I forget what it is. Virtually every week.
Well, they have me every week, but I'm obligated to be here to do my duty, do my
You
job.
bet. You
So-
bet.
I compliment anyone that chooses to run for public office. Not necessarily party office, but public office, because it is a giant sacrifice. I mean, they're out 7 days a week, from early in the morning
Wow.
until late at night, every single day, and it's a huge sacrifice for them.
Yeah.
Larry, how about you?
Well-
what makes you? Who are you going to vote for and why?
I'm going to vote for the man who cares about our community.
Yeah.
Really. And I don't want a judge who's going to who makes his own law. I want a judge who interprets the law the way it's written
You bet.
and will lean sometimes towards leniency based on his ability to prejudge the
It's
person.
better to err on the side of mercy, I believe.
You
Would
bet.
you agree with that?
I agree. And also when Joe was running, there's a lot of research Joe has to do before he makes a decision. And people don't realize it. It isn't just showing up and listening to what's going on. There's a lot of things you have to learn, like the lagoon, the problems we're having. Joe has to figure out how can we solve this problem.
Okay.
So he's going to do research.
Let me ask Bob Meadows, why? Why you've had a successful law career, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So now you're running for judgeship. Why?
Yeah.
Why do you want to be a circuit judge?
I want to continue to serve people, individuals, and I believe that I can do that from the bench with, as we spoke earlier, my background as a law enforcement officer, being from this community, having the background of a criminal defense lawyer. I've done civil work also within my career as an attorney. I've worked and learned from the best, Mr. Bob Stone, Robert Stone.
Oh, yeah.
He was my
He's been
mentor
there.
He
and
was.
still is. Very well respected.
Yeah.
And I believe that I have the most diverse background, and every step of my career has led me today to ask for the support of the
So
people.
what qualifications, if you were to name 3 top qualifications on what you would use to pick a circuit judge, what would those be?
I think the background of the person, the individual, where they come from, the type of law that they've practiced, and how much experience do they have within the circuit court that they want to sit in, because courts are different.
Okay, explain what the circuit court is.
The circuit court is criminal felony. As far as civil concerns go, it's anything over $15,000. If there's a claim for over $15,000, it would be not in small claims court, but in circuit court. Family law, which would include divorces. You have child dependency.
So
Juvenile.
if somebody owes me over $15,000, that would have to be a debt. Would I bring that to you?
Yes, it would come to the circuit court.
Right.
And why you said civil felony?
No, it's felony criminal. If I said civil, I misspoke. Criminal felony.
Oh, gotcha. And that goes through your court.
Correct.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So someone stole money from a business, more than $15,000.
No.
No embezzlement.
Over
or-
100, over 300, something. That's gradations.
Oh, wow.
You
okay.
can be misdemeanor if you're a petty theft.
No, but
but-
he's felony. So
Right. So if you were John Corzine, Democrat John Corzine stole $2 billion from his clients, it would be in Bob's court.
I got a
Nobody's
question for
talking
Bob.
billions. All I want is a few million
I
bucks.
got a question. I got a question for
I don't need billions. Too
For-
much stress.
Robert. For Robert.
You
quote, unquote,
do?
Bob. Yeah.
Yeah, what is the question? Because
Okay.
what we're gonna do is we're gonna use it, position it so it's a tease, because he says we have to go on break.
it's
So
gonna
what you
be a
do is,
boring
what's your
tease.
question gonna be?
Okay.
And it's gotta be something contesting or
Okay. This is for Robert Bob
inflammatory.
Meadows. Okay. This is for Robert Bob
Is
Meadows.
it inflammatory in nature?
Sure. Okay.
Car baby.
So let's talk about let's talk about the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. As a judge, you
Yeah.
have the ability to do the spirit of the law versus the letter of the law. All right.
Okay, that's
So-
a good question. In the
Yeah.
Bible, it says, not by the letter of the law, but by the spirit of the law. Okay, what does that mean? Because we go black and white, then probably the Bible also says all men are liars. And then he says, no, then Jesus later on says, no liar shall enter the kingdom of God. So I figure we get up to heaven, God goes, nope, you're all out of here. All right, we're going to take a little break. We'll be right back. This is the mayor of the airways who loves you, baby. The man upstairs.
We have a U.S. Senate candidate. Mike Pence.
Smoothie, right?
Oh, yeah, thanks. Where you been?
I have an errand.
What do you
Oh, listen,
think of the Supreme Court now? And not only they're supposed to do the law that's on the books, but now they're doing their
We have a
opinions
US
of the law, changing the laws. And they're not supposed to do that, and yet they're doing it. It's just like that one woman got up and she started blasting different things, her opinion, and she's not supposed to do that. Now, the law says if
You
it's
mean
black
Ruth
or
Fuzzy Ginsburg?
yeah, and a lot of things like, I listen to the Supreme Court, some of the rulings now, it's not like, if we're all created equal, how can you rule that minorities have a preference after so many years of having all these
Okay,
preferences?
because,
How can they not make a white man a fireman, even though he's more qualified than a black man or Native American or anything? They get preferential treatment. He can't feed his family
Correct.
because he's not a minority.
Right.
How could that, we're supposed to be all equal under the eyes of the law. So I'm confused. Are they saying we're not equal anymore? That some people are better than us now? What is it? Does the law say we're equal or doesn't it?
Well,
not anymore.
no, we had that, back in the 70s when I first became a police officer, I had to score a certain number much higher than a minority would have to score in order to become a police officer. And it seems we're reverting back.
Yeah.
We're reversing that. You may have a 4.0 to get into college. I may have a 3.2, but because of my race, you don't get in and I do. I just had that in my family. My daughter-in-law is a dentist. She waited 7 years to get into school for dentistry. 7 years.
Wow.
Now, how she got in, finally, my son said to her, listen, you're part Cuban because of your Russian and you're in Cuba. So she said, I'll put it on my application. Got in immediately. She went to Minnesota. She got in. She was the only woman that was white in the whole college. And everybody else, they were Muslim.
Okay, if you want to hear this, you'll have to have your headset on.
They went free.
Now, I don't know.
All went free, but she paid $250.
Mark Rodolico's calling in, wants to say something positive about him.
30 seconds.
I told him to call us to 10, but he can't. He's going to be cutting here. Thank you.
That was very informative. I listened to you about explaining.
I'll go over there.
Circuits.
Can I steal those headsets over there? No, Joe, you don't want to listen to it? You don't want to?
Is this are they sending a new ad for this every day? And by the way, Leslie Swan called yesterday and said the wrong ad ran for her office call and said the wrong ad ran yesterday. Now, that might have been a replay that went in the morning, the rerun. Okay, we got to be careful. All right, this is the mayor of the Airways. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Mark Rodolico has called in and has something to say about Joseph Sempervivo. Hello, Mark. Yep, we can hear you. Yes, sir.
But you were out there on the street, you were mentoring these young people, and I just thought that was outstanding citizenship here in Indian River County. So even though Brett Palmer may not endorse a candidate, I definitely say that Joe Sempervivo is walking the walk, talking the talk, and I just wanted to report on that.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
Have a good time.
I really appreciate it.
Have a good haircut. What do you want to say something?
Yeah. I wanted to thanks, Mark. I saw Mark at a red light on 58th and 60. He and his wife, they were in a Jeep, and we had 10 millennials outside with us, sign waving yesterday. And then they're right now, Daniel, Zach, Joseph, Mia, her two kids, they're at the base of Barber Street Bridge waving signs for us. And I just wanted to thank them for doing that.
all
And
right.
yeah, so that was really cool.
Okay, let's get back to our little show here. That's very good. I'm glad he's speaking up for you and you're working with the youth.
Yeah.
And in the studio today, we have Go Joe Airman. He's running against Mr. Zork, against Mr. Rodolico, and against Mr. Kirby, who is a detective presently, or
He is a lieutenant at the sheriff's office.
lieutenant with Sheriff's Office. We also have Mr. Bob Meadows, candidate for circuit judge. We have Mr. Fromang, and we have the Sempervivos, Larry and Joseph. So you had a question for our judge candidate, Robert.
Robert Bob Meadows.
What was
Yes.
the question? Oh, about
Spirit, about the spirit versus the letter of the law. How does that play into the courtroom? Spirit versus the letter.
Their judges are given deference in certain situations. There are also mandatory, minimum mandatory sentences, for instance, but there's deferences in sentencing that judges can take. And they take the spirit of the law into consideration during those situations. If there's a motion to suppress evidence, the judge can use the spirit of a law that's presented by an attorney in his decision in making the choice whether to deny the motion or to grant the motion. The spirit of the law comes in, and the deference of the judge comes in greatly in sentencing. We have had sentencing guidelines. There used to be, the sentencing guidelines used to be, when the guidelines, the numbers all came out to be 24 months in prison, the judge didn't have the deference to change it from 24 months. Now, if the guidelines say 24 months, the judge has leeway in that 24 months. He can go above it to the maximum, as you put it, the letter of the law. If the crime is a third-degree felony, it's punishable by up to 5 years in prison. They can give him up to 5 years, even though his score sheet only reached 24, using the person's background and things of that nature to rise the penalty. But they can also go below the guidelines and give a person a sentence less, such as you mentioned earlier. Judge Cox can give rehabilitation time and some prison time, or no prison time and suspend a sentence and see if the person can walk the walk.
So as a follow-up to that question, being a law enforcement officer, when you would pull up on the scene, you had seconds to evaluate a person, if they're a good person, bad person, if you were in danger or not are in danger. So when you're sitting on a bench as elected a circuit court judge and you see someone in there, you then have the ability, going back to the street days, to evaluate them, not in seconds, but over that course, to say, you know what, I could then not follow the letter of the law and have some deference and reduce the sentence because I know this person really is a good person, maybe a suspended sentence or probation or whatever it is. Is that accurate?
Yes, and I think it's exactly what I said before. That brings my background into play tremendously, because I know all sides of this. It's a multifaceted business that we're in the judicial business. It's not just walking in and making, okay, we're making a decision, you get off the bench and you walk out. It's multifaceted. As you mentioned, Joe has homework to do. He can't just sit up there in a county commission meeting and say, oh yeah, I like that idea. Let's dump bleach in the lagoon. That'll kill all the algae and we're done.
Yeah.
He's got things he has to do to research what is bleach going to do to the lagoon.
Yes.
Judges have the same obligation. You have laws, you have case law that you read, you have case files that you read. You don't just walk up on the bench and look across every day at someone and you have 5 sentencings and that's the first time you've seen them. That's the first time you've seen their case file. Judges have the court files. They read them. They use the information that they've gleaned from defense attorneys and prosecutors in their arguments to make their decisions.
Right.
All right, just a few. I've been ignoring my phone this morning, so I just want to say, if someone text us, good morning, Rhett. The hotspot, Bob, was called Marvin Gardens.
That's true, Marvin Gardens.
Yeah, Marvin Gardens.
Judge Lenny,
remember that.
but Judge Lenny Villafranco, who's running for judge as you are, said, say hello and welcome to Bob Meadows for me.
Back at you, Lenny.
And who else do we have here? We have some other things. So Tim Zork, he said his retirement is $103,000 a year, and it increases 3% a year for the rest of his life. It's a matter of public record. Okay.
What that has to do with governing from the county commission bench, I don't know, but he apparently likes to say stuff like that, so.
All right. Let's see, Barbara, most of the text did not make sense. Okay, well, that's personal. Okay.
Your slip's showing.
And Richard, let's see, Pastor Richard Demsick, he just texted something, and he says, I understand, I can't remember, it's been a while since I checked these out. I understand his perspective, but in my mind, it's Christians focusing too much on trying to legislate morality, and that has caused a backlash against Christianity. What was that?
What?
Anybody know? Hold on,
No.
please. I want to know what we were talking about that.
Well, I think,
What was I talking about that?
well, you are
remember?
always spiritual, Rhett. So in that respect, you attract, like iron filings to a magnet. But I will say this, Bob Meadows is one of the most respected and well-known lawyers on the Treasure Coast. Martin County, they know him. Out in Okeechobee, if you mention Bob Meadows, because I was out there the other day, and the fellow said, you know Bob? I said, are you kidding? His office is right next to mine. So you're well-known, Bob. And Joe, you're the same way. A lot of people don't know this, but your dad was Big Joe Ehrman, right?
That would have been about my grandfather.
Your grandfather.
Who was Big Joe
Wow.
Ehrman? Sounds like a historic figure here.
That was
I'm
my-
just telling you, Big Joe Ehrman.
Big
Everybody knew
Joe.
Big Joe. Am I right?
That was my grandfather.
You
Been there in
bet.
1928. Right?
All right,
bet.
we got 1 minute left in today's broadcast. I want to thank everybody for coming in here. You can't see anything else here, Mr. Frome, or he's going to have to recuse himself should he get the judgeship. Anyway, Robert, Bob Meadows, have you enjoyed your visit?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Ray.
Thank you for coming in here. Also, Joe Ehrman, have you enjoyed your visit?
I always do. I appreciate it so greatly.
Yeah,
It's always
thank
fun.
you. And I want to thank Joseph Corsempervivo. Oh, thank you, Joseph.
There he goes. There he goes. He had to do it
Yeah.
every day. I
No,
listen to
he doesn't
him.
like that
He
because-
always uses
I
it.
forgot Joseph doesn't like that either.
Can't stand it.
All right, then I'll talk to Larry.
No.
We're gonna go to Vincent's. Vincent's is closing down the 22nd.
I know, they're
Closed down for
moving.
6 weeks to renovate. So,
They're going to be moving.
and anyway, so I did a little 1 minute interview with him on Facebook 2 days ago. 1,000 views already. Hey, this is the mayor. Who loves you, baby? All right. All right. All of a sudden, it shows that clock. I got 3 seconds left. So, Bob, you think that went well?
Thanks for
Yes,
coming in.
thank you very much. Yeah, and let's do something.
That would be
Let's
good to
hold
get
on.
an
Let's think about
emotional
sitting down and doing something on, the history of the area.
That, I would love to.
Well, you like to
well, you know,
talk
my
about
aunt
something-
lives in the county historian, Bruce Stanbridge.
That's your aunt.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
All part of the Howard.
for.
I was gonna say, but I didn't get a chance to. His father was my doctor.
It's been.
I know his
I
whole
was-
family.
Oh, that's when his father
When
was
I was
a
a child, yes.
All right, okay. Thank you for coming today.
Robert, good to see you, man.
Beverly, good to see you again.
Okay.
It's the first time we actually met.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
All right, buddy.
Joe, first time we've actually met.
Absolutely, first time.
Thank you very much, Brad.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. See you later.
Talk to your sister, it's too late to get in the magazine, but I am selling, space on my Facebook page and stuff. I got 11,000, viewers there,
Well, I'm gonna give you a call.
Yeah. You're interested. Some spots.
I remember meeting your sister.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
She came in.
How's everything in here?
Yeah, I'll tell her, Red.
You gonna stick around?
One more half hour. One more half hour.
It smells like, it smells hot dog.
No hot dogs there.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I know.
You had a good trip. You had a good trip. I know. I saw it in the, I know, well, I was sitting in the car in the heat, listening to your wonderful program. Why? I'm fine. My son brought me your magazine today. Nice, it was nice.
Yeah, come on up.
So tell me about your trip. I can't come tomorrow.
Okay,
You
here for
asked
lunch.
me. No.
You can come today. Come tomorrow for what?
Well, you asked me to come either Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, so you're coming today.
Well, I've just stopped by. Are
We're
you,
gonna put you
are
on
you
there
still
right now.
on?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
you're
gonna
still
put you
on.
on.
Until when?
Till 10:30.
Oh, okay. All right, I'll stay for a few minutes. I'm on my way to the market.
So what you?
So I can't come tomorrow because, hi, how are you? Anne Marie McChrystal.
Oh, Crystal,
She
yeah.
started
I'll give
BNA.
you some water.
Oh.
Are you a coffee drinker?
Yes,
Okay, how do you take it?
just with milk.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, sure. Be right with you.
Are you getting new ads from Riverside Theater to play the weekends?
From Riverside?
Oh,
I
okay.
need that too.
It's the same thing? Is this data that ran today or no?
It's on Hal, is what we.
That's okay.
What's that?
That's what we're supposed to be doing?
Yeah, because that's every other weekend. Hal is, that's a permanent thing.
Oh, no, here comes trouble. Uh-oh, what's up, you lobster?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. So what, I'm after the primary, so I don't know why you would want me on
Well,
until,
that's good. You know why?
Why?
Because then I can sell you some advertising.
I know.
Oh, and listen,
And
I
I will call you.
want you to call VNA too, because Patty, I had to fire Patty yesterday. So I handed the VNA over just to be nice, and I had some problems with the young lady, but anyway, whatever she is, but, so she was saying nasty things about me behind my back. I hired somebody new to work with her in the office, and she said to the person, "Oh, you know he's going bankrupt." Going bankrupt? I'm not going bankrupt. And then she said that I steal accounts, and even the new girl said, "Why would Rhett steal accounts when I'm working for him?" Just making up this stuff. And I came in there and said,
So
"Oh,
who did you hire in her place?
this new gal." I'm on look. I got
Well,
one gal.
Steve Smith is the one that's in charge of everything at the VNA
Yeah.
marketing. And
So always say something good about us, all right?
I guess.
Oh my
Okay.
God, they must want me to stay.
Are you running against Sal, Joe Sal?
Yes,
Good.
but he's
I'll
running
come over
against
to your
me.
couch. I can't wait till the fall when we can sit out there and sit for a
There are
long
two
time.
people.
We should do a show called
Running for
Fromane's
C6.
Couch.
Joe is one of them, and
But anyway.
a gal
I'm happy
named,
to
I think,
keep it for a couple of weeks.
Melissa.
Well, I don't.
Yeah, I don't know who she is.
I'll have
I'm
it.
gonna
I
have,
knew-
I'm gonna
I
have
wouldn't want to do that.
Larry
Nice
sit
to meet you
here.
again.
It's good to see you.
Oh, you don't have to go anywhere, do you?
What's that?
You don't have to go anywhere, do you?
No.
Do you want to have, since it's female, do you want to give a little female perspective, like sit over here? Okay,
Sure.
okay. But you have to turn this all off because it'll give us
I
feedback.
know that. Okay.
Okay, but so you stay standing, she's gonna sit, two ladies, your father will sit here,
I got it.
and, you can have my seat if you want, I'll
How
stand.
long am I gonna be here?
But I want you here.
We're finished at 10:30, 20 minutes. Why? Are you concerned?
30?
24.
No, I just
25.
was stopping by, just
You went up
to
to
tell him I
27,
couldn't be on for
24.
No,
tomorrow.
you've been saying.
Everybody's
25.
been
I was
stopping
24 and a
by.
half.
Everybody's been very spontaneous.
Right.
Okay.
About a pound a week to 3 pounds a week.
That's good. He's lost 24 pounds.
So
Good
far,
for you.
my wife put me on a diet.
Do you have any
I gained
connections here?
100.
I need a cup of
Married.
coffee.
Every time
You gained
Oh, by the way.
100 pounds
we got
here.
married,
when we're married.
We gotta go, we gotta.
How old are you?
I'm 44.
Okay, how many?
44?
How much
We got married
time?
10 years ago, and we
You
have,
must be a good cook.
oh, my mom. put her
We have
through
1 minute.
Boot camp for cooking. Amazing cooking, but we
No,
had
no,
6 babies.
I want you to sit
And
there.
every time,
Please sit, we're going on, we got like 40
But
seconds.
you didn't carry.
Larry, please sit
I
down.
know, but she would waste the food, and so I would eat it, because I hate waste. And his wife eats like a bird. Yep, but not anymore. Can you get in
I don't know anything about Crystal.
About what?
I don't know much about you.
Well, that's why that'll be good.
Well,
I'm glad you don't.
Yeah,
We don't need these.
she was here once before.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Unless you
never-
I
feel,
was
you
just
need
on
to
my
listen
way
here,
to
you better
the
put those
market.
on so you can hear better. Do you hear better with those on?
Should I say I'm on my way to the market? I just got on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here we go.
He kidnaps everybody.
I know. Let me make sure this is
This
on.
has been unopened. Would you like a fresh water? You don't want a water?
No, I'm good.
It's another beautiful day in paradise. How are you, ladies and gentlemen? This is the mayor of the airways. We have Beverly Osler back in her seat, freshly back from Vermont.
Yes, and I'm happy to be back because I like to be warm, and it's certainly warm enough.
Now, so you don't I love the hills of Vermont in the summer.
Oh, I miss the hills. I just, I don't like those cool nights. So anyway, I'm unusual.
Whenever we have her in here, we should remember, always have that song ready. The hills are alive with the sound of music, because she knew the Van Trapp family, and you worked for Mrs. Van Trapp.
Yes.
And intimately, I mean,
Yes. Traveled with her. Yes.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And of course, you said they were complaining they never made any money on that movie, but before they got $8,000 or whatever.
9,000.
But how many hundreds of millions do they make annually up there on that mountain where no one would have known about the Van Trapp family if it wasn't for that movie? Make a movie about me. Don't pay me a dime. Then I can go and I can have speaking engagements for the rest of my life at $20,000 a night. Oh, like 400,000? No, 4 million. She's done. Now that's ridiculous. But you know, when Tom Brokaw came to our town right here, he got 100,000. Oh, 125, I think was for the night.
Wow.
Yeah, there was a judge in town here 2 years ago, a famous, not judge, a general, 125. You know, the lady with the apes, she gets 60 to 80,000 a night. Dave Walsh and I figured out she travels constantly.
The lady with the apes.
The lady with the apes. What is her name? That famous lady with the apes. But she
Goodall.
Jane Goodall. Is it Jane Goodall? And she made about 18. We figured about $18 million a year. But she takes all her money
and puts it back in.
Yes, and that voice that's
the apes.
This is. Let's have a round of applause for Anne Marie McChrystal.
Here she is, and I've been nowhere this summer except in Vero Beach, and it's been wonderful.
Is it seriously?
Oh yes. Absolutely. It's been a little warm.
You know, your husband,
dry.
I was going to say your dad, your husband.
No, I always say it's my dad, but it is my husband.
Your husband, obviously, you've had an affluent life in that you were a nurse, met him, he became a doctor. That's right, you are a nurse.
I am a nurse.
Once a nurse, always a nurse. And we love nurses. So she's a nurse and helped to start VNA.
Absolutely. 41 years ago.
But I mean, so you're married to Dr. McChrystal, so
I am.
I mean, you guys could afford to do anything you want to do.
Well, we have had a wonderful life of traveling, and 5 times to Africa.
5
so,
times. See,
yes,
I've only been once. See that? The big shots get to go.
Africa.
5, I only get 1. What
We
can
love Africa.
Okay.
It's very spiritual there.
In what way?
It's just, you feel like that's where it all began, and it's very spiritual. When you're sitting in the middle of the Serengeti and you can't hear a thing but maybe a lion roaring in the distance and sounds of the plains, it is like that's where life began. You're as close to God as you could ever be.
You know, I agree with you that at the night, particularly, I remember the nights. All of a sudden I realized I was actually had gone through a breakup with a young lady at that point, and it was 30 days fresh. So you can imagine my heart's bleeding, the blood you can't see. And I'm there and I'm looking up at the night sky, but it had such clarity.
Well, it's beautiful.
Because they don't have the pollution we have.
Right. But being out there in the Serengeti, especially in East Africa, is just incredible because it's just vast plains.
Speaking of Serengeti, though, have you been down to the little place in West Palm? Now, you're going to want to take your grandkids there. Barbara and I went there recently with her nephew, Christopher, who's like 10. No, 11 now, excuse me. It's, what is it called? Lion Safari? Have you been?
Oh, when our kids were small, we took them down there.
Go again as an adult or find an excuse or take somebody else's kids. You know, we always have to have somebody else to take, you know. We went down there. It was a wonderful, it's only about an hour you drive through, you know. We got to see lions and tigers, and we got to see antelope and giraffes, and it's just really cool. And then it had a light rain came along as you're driving along, very slow, about 3 miles per hour. And this, what do you call those big birds with the, you know, the
ostrich?
Ostrich came right up to the window and was attempting to eat.
They peck at the window and the bugs on the car.
Pardon me?
The ostrich peck at the rear view mirrors and the bugs on the car.
Okay, well, maybe they were pecking at the drops of water, or maybe he thought it was bugs.
Probably.
But I got some wild photos. I can show you. The thing with its mouth wide open.
We took at that time we had 5 kids, so we took the 5. We were at a charity auction and we bought tickets to go to the Lion Safari for cystic fibrosis.
Really?
And yeah, and so we took the kids there, and
By
they
the
just
way,
loved it. Yeah.
Someone has just signed up another annual contract, was renewed because he got such great results. Who does the airboat rides?
Oh yeah, Marsh Beast.
Marsh Beast.
Oh, Kenny's great. Captain Kenny.
I took you out for your initial trip. You've been back 4 or 5 times with
5
family members visiting.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like it?
Oh, it's exceptional. We did an airboat tour in the Everglades, and you then introduced us to Marsh Beast, and we went out there with Captain Kenny.
Yeah.
And there was no comparison. You overpay in the Everglades. You have a really large boat. You can't hear a thing. Then you go on this pristine, spotless boat. I took my mom and dad out, and took my sister and brother-in-law, a whole bunch of people, 5 separate times, and it was exceptional. It was it's probably 6 to 10 times better than the Everglades.
And what
tour.
a truly nice human being. And boy, has he given insight on the trip.
Yeah,
I
he
guess
does.
these little baby alligators and big giant.
It's a great thing for grandchildren. My grandchildren did that.
30 alligators we saw at least that day.
Yeah.
And then we saw
Python.
we did not see a python, but I did see
I don't think they're up
a
here
big
yet.
giant bird. This big giant bird swooped down. What was it? A hawk?
It's a fish bird. It's an
picked up a
osprey.
coop.
It's a osprey.
So what happens is they won't land on the water. So they have to. So they disturb. When they're disturbed, though, they fly off the water. Then the hawk comes down.
Oh,
and
that was a
grabs
peregrine falcon.
Yes.
And Bigsby took a picture of it.
An excellent picture, by
Yeah.
the way.
I think it was a falcon that did that.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. But anyway, so that's marshbeastairboattours.com.
Yeah.
Marsh Beast. Ride the beast, kids. I think that's a great name for kids. Hey, Mom, Dad, can we ride the beast?
Yeah.
That sounds like a cartoon. Anyway, back to Anne Marie McChrystal.
No, that's okay.
How you
I'm
doing?
just listening. I'm fine.
Good.
I'm good.
Now, I think that Beverly has a question for
Well, when I moved here 3 years ago, somebody recommended a doctor, and I had to turn at that one street that's named after your husband.
Mhm.
And I thought, who is this man? What's such an honor to have a street named after him?
Absolutely.
So tell me, how did that come about?
Well, he's been very dedicated to patient care in this community. We came here in 1966. He was the first urologist in Indian River County. Back in that day, there weren't very many specialists here, and they were really clamoring for specialists. We had a few general surgeons. We didn't have an orthopod. And so we had a friend who lived here, actually an old boyfriend of mine and his wife and children. And we
Sorry.
came by
I
to,
didn't think you were going to talk about me on the air.
you're a little young for me, Rat. But anyway,
Aw, shucks.
aw.
Come on.
But anyway, so we came to look at Vero Beach, and we now we were up in Washington D.C. because Hugh was doing his urology residency at Georgetown University. We met in Miami, by the way, down there when I was an OR nurse and he came down as a surgical resident. But anyway, so we were looking to come back to Florida, but not go all the way back down to the Miami area. So we came here to visit our friends and decided it'd be a great place to raise our kids. We had 2 at the time. And this place was just so welcoming. I mean, they wanted the specialists. Everybody opened their home. A lot of people, we had only a few restaurants at the time. And so everybody had dinner in their home. It was wonderful. But anyway, my husband, 3 years after we were here, he became chief of staff. He remained chief of staff, which was a volunteer job up until recently, for 24 years.
Wow.
And
Wow.
he also was chairman. He was on the board of trustees, the hospital district that taxes for indigent care. He was on that for 12 years. Now you have to run in the election for that. And he chaired that board for a number of years. Does it sound like I'm proud of my husband?
And you should be.
So a number of years ago, as he was reaching retirement, they named the street completely around the hospital in honor of my husband. He's a great guy and he's retired and he's still on the board of the hospital.
Well, you know, they honored me too. They named a garbage can after me.
Well, it's very important to put trash in the can.
That's right.
Very
That's what they figured. I figured
Yes.
that's an analogy.
So maybe everybody
I
can
got a lot
remember
of
to
sense.
do that when they see your can. Trash can.
But Anne Marie, you
Yes.
are a tremendous support.
Yeah.
Being a nurse, I mean, you could share information with each other. And that
Well, I was his administrator for all the years we were in practice, so I worked for him.
okay.
Plus having the background, because you have the medical background, exactly like Beverly said, but also understanding what it was like in the environment to be a to be a doctor in the community, and then the VNA. I mean, starting that, I mean,
Right.
that's
Whose
it's
phone
not me.
keeps
It's not me.
ringing?
It's not me.
Could you please, your phone
not
keeps
hers either.
ringing. Somebody's phone, it's not mine. So-
She doesn't have her
Nice.
phone.
Okay,
Is your phone on?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, because there's a ringing taking place and it's, okay, I know what we should do. We should have like a cell phone fine.
Here it
If a
goes.
phone goes off in the studio,
It's just like in the clubs.
it's $100 fine. The $100 will go to a local charity of Rhett's choice.
So you know what your CPA does on your financial statements, you would have other income category. And that's what they do in real estate. Other income would be the rental, like say vending machine income or antenna rental. That's what they do in real estate for your financials.
What's
So
this
for
have to
you-
do what we're talking about?
Because what I'm saying is,
have to pay
you have
taxes
regular
on it.
income, you have normal income, which is, selling advertising, etc. But this would be an other income category. So that is another revenue creator for you.
Oh, yeah.
There's a cell phone fine.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you could have a vulgarity fine and talking too long fine. Next thing you know, it could be the Rhett Fine Show. And we can make all this extra
Just
money.
like the government, just find another way to suck money out of people's pockets.
Right. I want to know why.
Well, hold on.
It's not me.
It's a teaser.
Yes,
Give us a teaser, then we're gonna take a break.
you got it. So, Mrs. McChrystal,
Yeah.
why, Emery, why
Am I
Why
there?
is it, are you going to sacrifice your time and energy to
Ah.
serve?
Good question. She's running for office. What's the office you're running for?
Indian River County Hospital District Board of Trustees,
Okay.
seat 6.
Okay, we're gonna find out what that involves when we return. We're gonna take a little break. This is the mayor of the airwaves. Keep it right here. Today's broadcast brought to you by Route 60 Hyundai.
I use my cell phone to listen to this program. And he calls me at the last minute, put your cell phone down. You're picking on me.
No, he isn't.
No, I'm not picking.
So are we off?
For now, yeah.
You're always on because you got that camera right there for you.
Well, that's right.
So
Yeah,
you
be
can't
careful what you
talk
say in
about
this room.
anything
Yeah,
confidential.
Or we can kill, if you want to say something private, talk about sex. or
Remember, we have to
something.
come right back
If you
in
want to,
with
if endorse me on now,
that
it's
question
up to you.
and teaser.
Okay, what did you say?
We have to come back in with that question and teaser to your guest.
That was your girlfriend. That was your sweetheart that called.
Really?
Yes. She wants a recipe from Vermont, so, okay. All right.
You know, I play the accordion.
You what?
Play the accordion.
Oh, why don't you bring it in next time?
Oh, you know what?
We talked about that last time.
I
And
know.
she said, I haven't played it in years.
You
Is
live.
that what
45
you said?
seconds.
You haven't played it in years?
Oh, I just played it last week.
Oh, did you?
It didn't sound that great.
So for Anne Marie, I want to hear about the position, what it entails, okay? Don't tell me no.
20 seconds.
Mhm.
I've made some people massive money on this show.
Who, what?
I said I've made your listeners massive money on this show.
Oh,
Between Barclays investment with Brexit. Right after Brexit, I told everybody to invest in Barclays. And then Twitter. Twitter's up 60% since I announced it on the show.
But after November 4th.
okay, we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Cute little accordion girl, blue eyes and blonde curls. She's
I
a
wish.
cute accordion girl.
Those were the days.
What were the days?
when I used to play the accordion.
Well, I understand you were just practicing last week. You didn't think I heard you
Well,
say that.
I did try to play a tune or two, just to keep the accordion
Play a tune or two.
right in shape, and
Now-
Mama in shape here.
Now, before we took a break, Mr. Sempervivo, Joseph Sempervivo, candidate for,
Republican State Committee man.
I had a question for candidate.
Anne Marie McChrystal, seat 6, Hospital District Board of Trustees, but
Okay.
that election is not until the general election.
Oh,
Right.
So we have to get through this primary, which
Yeah.
is very important in this community.
and after that, then I can hit you up for some ads in the Bureau's Voice.
You can. I don't know if you'll be successful, but you can. Right.
But one thing we can do is go out and have lunch together.
But I did, yes, well, it's about time. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Well, thank you. You honor me.
But I saw the cover of your magazine. It looks great with all the pictures of the candidates.
Yeah,
It's a nice
yeah.
cover.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
Yeah, Barbara's not political, so she's like, this is the worst cover we've ever had.
Oh,
What do you know?
really?
And
Oh, I
I,
think it's great.
I think
Me
it's
too.
it's a uniting cover because it has all the
liberals,
candidates.
Right.
Canada,
Everybody running.
conservatives, it has.
It's a community
black
cover,
and white.
and your magazine, Bureau's Voice, is a community magazine.
Right,
It
right.
brings all the people together. It's in doctors' offices. It's in offices across the city, and people get to pick it up and read it. And it brings everybody.
I think I
It's
came up with a
important.
new idea, by the way. I want you to look into this because you're the legal guy.
Yeah.
You're good at doing that. You almost became an attorney. I think you should go back and do that. That guy did. Guy running
Yeah.
for judge was older than you when he decided to become an attorney.
Yep.
Anyway, I want to say Bureau's Voice, your hometown magazine. Well, then we know there's a little newspaper run called Your Hometown, but there's certain things you can't grab because it's so common in usage.
Right.
You know, like Kleenex or anything. They
Yeah.
used to own that. Now anybody can say
It's like
Kleenex.
public domain type of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So would you look into that? See, I think, do you think it'd be good? We need a subtitle of Bureau's Voice, your hometown magazine, or what did you just call it? You said it's a what kind of magazine?
It's a community magazine.
Your
It's-
community magazine.
Yeah.
What you think about that? I want another,
Well, it's bringing community together, and I think
It
that's
is.
important.
yeah, bringing community
Community
together. Let me
together,
write that down. Hold on.
Not rocket
So
science.
I asked, wait, Sean's talking.
What did you
Is it a
what did you
cash
say, Sean?
prize?
Is there a cash prize?
Actually, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Should we have a cash prize?
Okay, that's it. I'm gonna come up with a whole bunch of slogans.
Okay. No, I was going to ask
Tagline.
you to come up with the money. By the way, let's hear the Sempervivo kids do the Pledge of Allegiance. Good. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, when we built the Riverside Theater 100 years ago, they had a contest in the community to come up with the name.
Oh,
And
what did the winner get?
the name on the theater, and it just, the fact that it was
Well,
volunteer.
we have to get back to the original question that we
But first,
posed.
okay, what?
Okay.
Oh, no, yeah, but first play the Sempervivo kids saying the
Pledge of
salutation
Allegiance.
to the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, all right. I'm always asking for these things off the cuff, you know. So here we go with the Sempervivo kids, and
We have 6 kids under the age of 10 doing the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, number 6 isn't. She's only 3 months old.
yeah,
But they all
that's a
line
bunch
up.
of jive you're giving us.
Yeah,
All right.
Yay!
beautiful.
My wife does an exceptional
Applause.
job. She
Do we get
homeschools.
applause?
They read the
She
Constitution.
homeschools.
6 of them, and the kids, they sing Grand Old Flag, God Bless America, the Pledge of Allegiance every day before they start to school, and then in the beginning of class they read the Constitution, and they will tell you what the amendments are. If you just say what's 1, what's 5, what's 3, what's 4, what's 2, and they will tell you exactly what it means and the importance of the Bill of Rights.
I have a question, and I don't know the answer to this.
Yes, ma'am.
If you homeschool your
Yeah.
children,
Mhm.
can you be paid a salary for that? With benefits and a
What do you
pension?
mean? Who would pay you?
The government?
No, your spouse.
Yeah, interesting question. What they do from a homeschooling, they actually calculate the cost of a homeschooling mom and what their salary would be as a homeschooling mommy, and it equates to $5 million a year is what their pay would be equivalent to. And the reason being is they're a cook, they're a maid, they're a teacher, they're a principal, they're a taxi cab driver, and they add up all the things that they do, a seamstress, and they add up all the pay, and it comes up to $5 million a year.
And where does that equate? Anywhere? I mean, it
Oh,
adds
yeah,
up
they-
to that,
Yeah,
but
nobody
is
gets
there any
paid that.
deductible or anything?
No, nothing. I mean, I think we're allowed $300. No, actually, we're not. But
Okay, gotta get back to the
Yeah.
original question before we took a
thank
break.
you. Okay, so Anne Marie,
What? Yes,
tell us why, because you're running for a non-paid position.
correct.
You're running for a nonpartisan position coming up in November.
And what position is that?
Trustee.
Hospital District Board of Trustees, seat 6. There are 7 positions on the District Board
And
of
you're running for
Trustees.
seat 6.
And that board taxes for indigent care in the county.
Mhm.
That's their main purpose.
Mhm.
They are advancing into other areas, more into the needs in the community for programs in healthcare that are appropriate for community. There has been a needs assessment done recently with a lot of organizations involved. And from that, they have a draft of the most important needs in healthcare in the community, mental health being one of them, of course. And so the district board is advancing more into being of a health needs district rather than just indigent care.
Well,
But
why
we
are
tax
you-
for indigent care.
Why
am
are
I in-
you volunteering your time to
Well-
run for the position?
Well, first of all, I
This is
think
non-paid, right?
it's
Yep.
unpaid.
Right.
I'm a supreme volunteer in this community.
A supreme
A
volunteer.
supreme volunteer.
Did you just make up that title?
Well, I always say, they say, what do you do? Well, I'm a supreme volunteer.
And what does that mean?
I just enjoy being involved and it's not just in healthcare organizations, but predominantly.
Well, you know,
in
Beverly
healthcare
does. She
organizations.
she's a volunteer here in the mornings.
Yep.
Then she goes over to the hospital and volunteers.
There
Then
you
she
go.
goes
See?
she goes to the Museum
She's
of
a
Art every
supreme
week.
volunteer. It's wonderful.
She's awesome.
You know how much that equates in dollars in the United States in
Yep.
volunteer dollars that are, well, anyway.
A lot.
So,
Right.
I have been very involved in healthcare in the community, with the VNA, with the
Mhm.
hospital, with substance abuse, with mental health, a lot of different organizations. Senior resource, board work, and fundraising. I am a fundraiser. And so.
I could use you.
You don't need anybody, Red.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
I did. I put badge on you,
There
salesperson.
you go.
So because you have this track record of volunteerism.
Okay, but I have always been involved, going to these meetings of the district board because my husband was very involved, and even before he got involved, I was going to these meetings. And so when this gentleman resigned his position for personal reasons, I was asked if I would consider, because of my background in healthcare, would I consider applying for the position? Now, at the time, a year ago, 1 minute, he's telling me, a year ago, you would have to be appointed by the governor. I was appointed by the governor, but for the last 2 years of his term, this gentleman's term, I have to run in November.
Oh.
And I decided to do that. And I'm finding it very challenging and exciting, and I
Okay.
love it.
And you'll be back again as it gets closer time for you to run.
Absolutely.
Anne Marie McChrystal, thank you for coming in here. So the position is?
Hospital District Board of Trustees, seat 6, and it's in the general election, and I appreciate your vote.
Sure, and that's the position
Thank you.
she's running for, and I'm running for the missionary position. Okay, Beverly Osler, thank you very much for coming in here.
Oh, my pleasure.
Joseph Sempervivo.
Don't forget to fill out your absentee ballot. At the very bottom of the Republican State Committee man, vote for the longest name, Joseph Joe Sempervivo.
Okay, and we have Joseph's dad to blame for this mayhem. You know that?
I didn't create a monster, I created a great guy.
And you're a grandpa.
Oh, yeah, big
We're
time.
gone.
Bye.
All righty.
All right.
All righty, Anne Marie.
Don't
thanks for
walk
stopping by.
by, I guess, huh? Don't
Thank you
walk
very
by.
much.
Sure, walk by.
I can't believe you've got 6 children in such a short time. You need to go to work.
Yeah. Oh, I work, all
I
right.
know, I'm kidding.
Work hard.
I'm kidding. All right, Beverly, I'm
You got your bag there.
Yep, I'm gonna get everything.
Thursdays are so much fun.
Banana.
Yeah, they are.
Mhm,
Oh, gosh, see what happened?
I did that.
I love seeing you. I really genuinely love seeing you. I wouldn't say it if I didn't feel it, but I do.
Oh, that's
That's
good.
what we like to say, from the heart.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel the
I
same
feel
way
the same
about
way.
You're very loved. We really, not only by Rhett, but
You
by
know
us.
that.
Not only by Rhett, but by us.
Well, I couldn't hug her because you're in the way.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
I'll see you next week, huh?
Great to be with you guys. Okay, okay. That's it.
See you, sweetheart. We're
That's
gonna
a good
go.
one. Thank you.
1 minute, 12 seconds, they were off.
See you, buddy.
Okay, Larry, take care. Thank you, Joe.
Sean?
Hang in there, bro.
I gotta bring you a bumper sticker for your car.
For mine?
Yeah, for your vehicle. All right, get that word out.
I don't care, absolutely. You know, my friends are a bunch of terrorists though, Joe, so you have to watch out.
I washed my cup, thank you.
Thank you for stopping by once again.
My pleasure.
Absolutely.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, yeah.
I'm gonna get something to eat back. So,
And
Kimberly.
Kimberly, Sean,
Sean.
coffee or water?
Water.
Hi, Kimberly. I'm Joe, Semper Vivo.
What is it?
Semper Vivo, like kind of like Semper Fi, always faithful. My name means always alive. Semper Vivo.
No.
I'm running for Republican state president.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What is state committee?
Yeah, state committee, man, it's a liaison for you to the state. So we help formulate the Republican platform and elect the state chairman is what we do. So if you have any issues in the county and you want to meet with people like from a governmental standpoint,
We are free
just
to
help
go
them
here.
and say, hey, can you help me out with this problem? Or, hey, I don't like our platform, I want to tweak this or that. And I support so it's,
I follow people on Facebook, you know?
oh boy, what do you do?
I'm Diz, have you heard of this? Hey. Yeah, I did not think
Oh, cool.
Anyway.
Well, you have a car?
So Atlantic Insiders here, looking across the medical center, pharmacy. Facility, heating air, as well as immediate radiology testing and lab testing, followed care consistent with my doctor. My phone is 770-665. Very courteous and passionate staff. Monitoring briefing from my office inside care, Dr. Chris Olek.
Your very favorite restaurant food delivered directly to your door. That's right, log on to chowcab.com. Chowcab.com. Now, they provide your meals delivered directly to your door from your favorite restaurant. Chowcab.com.
Someone in my family was diagnosed with skin cancer. Carroll High School.
You need to throw it on this card.
Yeah, we got to go to the
What I think doing is, look, last year, they know.
At Trinity Coast Dermatology, our board certified doctors have the training, the experience, and care for you and your loved one. You'll come to Trinity Coast Dermatology based on our imaging.
Am I gonna give you the 2,400 local people? Yeah.
Clean up that room.
Pulse Radio Show, my name is Danny House, CEO of Eastern Tax Financial Planning. You're on the host today. Today we're going to dive into variable annuities. It is a
Yeah, I'm looking like $55 a week.
You want to educate yourself. Stuff around on Facebook. Or
Yeah. And you'll promote that on your Facebook.
On every on the group and on other groups too. Through my business pro, I'll go and share it on the other.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play that song, because Dennis was on yeah.
I've got financial
Would you
close and that we
endorse,
have.
are you registered Republican or independent?
Right, I'm registered here in town.
As a Republican, independent, or something, I always ask.
we're doing this because
So